Ho, ho, ho. Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to Big Think Dimension with your hosts, Dan and Bob Video Games. Bob, you're going to want to save your star power for the Podlord segment, otherwise we are not going to get through this.
Oh, I see.
Chris Wolfhard.
Deck the halls.
And Dr. Aggro.
I'm back, bitches.
You're on GigaBoots. I feel safer, but also less safe, because I know he's not in the room with us.
He can't hurt us from there.
But that energy does concern me greatly.
I'm always with you inside your heart.
Oh, God. That makes it even worse. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big Think Dimension number 202. Woo! There's a lot of big thinks. Bob and I played Fortnite. They did that new update. I forgot to talk about it last week. I forgot to talk about a couple games last week, but I wanted to start this week with talking about Fortnite. When did Fortnite change from a game I didn't really dig all that much and was okay with to a game that I legitimately was like, oh, I want to play this? I feel like the reduced focus on building might be part of it. But I also think a part of it is there's a fucking castle in it, and in the basement is a scary knight.
Yeah, since last time we played it, there's now like a lot of random tasks to do in the open world. Like,
yeah, you can capture areas and get loot from that, which will help you get armaments and things.
yeah, I don't think any of that was there back when we played it like a few years ago.
No, it genuinely wasn't. This is crazy. I was just playing it to check out the ray tracing.
Yeah, the ray tracing, and didn't they add that other
nanite?
thing? Nanite,
Yeah, they added lumens and nanite, and it's actually like really good looking. This is going to be relevant for the next game I talk about.
And it still runs well.
It runs well and looks good.
It's weird.
It's almost like when you technologically prepare to do ray tracing, instead of strapping it onto your game and watching as its performance sinks into the ocean. It's pretty cool, and people like it. There are some shortcuts they take for the console versions of Fortnite to have ray tracing.
Mm-hmm.
They are acceptable losses, I believe, is the correct term. But I genuinely enjoyed how that game felt on a controller. It was really cool seeing it run like that, and it still has the 120 frames per second mode, which you can set it into, which disables the lumens.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly also the nanite. I don't know. I didn't stare. Probably disabled that. But I enjoyed a Fortnite. Problem, I'm prepping for Game of the Year, so I did not get to play as much as I wanted.
Yeah, obviously. We played together we played like 2 or 3 games, and then you played a little bit more than I did.
I played like 5 or 6 games, and I was like, Game of the Year. Looking at my list of 19 fucking games, and I'm like, I don't have time for Fortnite.
Right.
God damn it. Anyways, Aggro, you're going to have to dab on camera because we play Fortnite now. Well, this is a Fortnite channel.
I feel like we can negotiate about this.
Maybe off content.
Anyways, so that was one game I forgot to talk about last week. The other game was Portal RTX. I didn't talk about it at all. I didn't reference it. I spent a couple big things leading up to that being like, where is it? It's coming. I have this graphics card. Let me play it. It came out. I beat the entire game. It crashed something like 3 or 4 times. I think it was almost all or completely in the ending sequence for some reason.
Yeah, I saw you replay that ending like 5 times.
Oh, you never want to replay the ending of Portal 5 times. It is just such a not good battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it barely holds up like twice, if even.
Boss fight in the first-person shooter challenge.
That's a puzzle game.
Yeah, man. It's an extra layer to that. Just like, oh, there's no way.
Yeah. I don't think Portal RTX looks very good. Other people disagree. If you watch the Digital Foundry video on Portal RTX, you can hear a lot of gushing about it and how they think it looks very good. I think that video is funny because it feels like somebody who's... Imagine if you can, and you better, that this is a surface in Portal RTX. So it looks like someone's doing this in order to be like, oh my God, look at how beautiful this is. I have to shove my cornea into a wall to see the reflection and appreciate it. I laughed because watching that video felt like watching someone do that. As someone who played it, it is not that impressive, I don't think. And that's not to say the technology isn't there. It's to say I don't think anyone would give a shit.
I think it's so crazy.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about ray tracing is we can get these real-time reflections.
Yeah.
You aren't even in those reflections in that game. Like, your character is not in the reflections.
I think you're in some scale of reflections, but not all of them omnipresent, which is weird because I did have everything set to max.
Yeah. So it's like, this is the one thing that's neat. And almost everything is so, like, diffused and blurry. It's like, that's not cool. It's just subtle and there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, when I think of what makes ray tracing neat, I think about environments with intense geometric detail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, casting real shadows on the ground and reflections and puddles of water and other things that would work really well. And Portal doesn't have either of those.
Yeah.
So that was actually my first time replaying Portal since it came out on console.
Oh, you actually played it on console
15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Portal was a product of the time. It is a really neat game to go through if you've never gone through it before. I don't know why I played that whole thing. There's definitely a layer of just go do the advanced chambers or something like that.
Which I don't think you unlocked till you beat it.
Yeah.
So that would be a reason to play through.
Yeah, I guess it didn't inherit my save. I don't know. I've owned it on PC for a while, so there's the possibility I beat it once on PC. You know, they patched the ending to lead into Portal 2 on PC. They didn't patch the orange box on PS3.
Of course they did. Why would they ever?
Because the people who ported that to the PS3 are dead now, I assume. They were just lost in a ghost ship.
Found in Miami.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Portal RTX didn't really do anything for me. This is a long-term trend in me trying ray traced games.
It was funny how bad it could make your system run.
Yeah, 4K, not cheating with DLSS to fake resolution. It ran at like 27 frames per second or something, 30 something.
Yeah, and you just look at it as like, this is an ancient game.
Yeah, I don't know.
With enhanced graphics.
I am entirely of the opinion that is caused by the injection technology they use to make these RTX remix things work.
Mm-hmm. That would not be surprising.
Right. Also, it does not run on AMD hardware basically at all.
That makes sense.
It boots.
Wow, I'm surprised.
It runs at like 7 frames a second. But yeah, anyway. I'm interested to see how the other things people are working on already, even though RTX Remix hasn't officially been released, how those goes. Because people are already taking like files from Portal RTX and making ray tracing work in like Max Payne.
Ooh.
Right?
That could be really cool.
It could.
I think that the funniest thing to me about the Portal RTX is like the best looking thing in that game.
Yeah, the button.
The button.
The button.
The button looks great.
It looks
that has
amazing.
Nothing to do with ray tracing. That's just you modeled a really nice button.
That's not true. That it has a lot to do with the ray tracing because you get to see the translucent plastic look as it looks really nice.
Yes,
that's a next gen button. People should be pointing at the button in Portal RTX and be like, in the future, all buttons in video games will look like this button. Because it genuinely looks fucking amazing. Everything else is lesser than that button.
Yeah, by a lot.
Which is not surprising. There are also secret cubes you can get. I did not boot the game again to check those out, but they have like NVIDIA cubes, so all the, companion cubes get replaced by cooler looking cubes.
Huh.
That would have been nice to be there in the first place and not have to find a QR code to go to a website to unlock via thing.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
It was pretty weird. Anything. Anyway, that's it for the 2 games I missed last week. Bob, what did we play last Friday?
We played Astra's Wrath.
It's true.
Yeah. Man, this game is kind of just as bad as I remember. But it looks really cool. Like, you do a ton of cool stuff in this game. There's a lot of really cool set pieces that look nice.
Uh-huh.
But the entire thing is really bad hack and slash gameplay mixed with constant QTEs. Like, all these cool cutscenes are happening, and I have to pay attention way too much looking for a button to hit.
As
It's like 8 hours in a row. It's just like, God, please let me have a break.
when you're talking about looking very hard for a button to hit, you mean like when it would tell you to move the stick, and the problem is the stick prompt is completely gray, and so is the background it's on.
Yes, and
Okay.
how it's just there's always going to be something. I can never just relax and enjoy something cool happening. I have to be at the ready.
Well, yeah,
it will
that's-
not give you any warning.
That's a video game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not great. So everything is very gray.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Chris?
I could deal with the QTEs, but yeah, I forgot how much of that really bad combat system is in the game.
Yeah, that's actually the part where I was like shocked by.
They should do a remaster where there's none of it.
Yeah, when your combat's worse than a Senran Kagura game, I don't want to engage with it. Not this often.
That's a hell of a bar.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot to be worse than that.
Yeah. As somebody who had just heard of the reputation of Ashura's Wrath, I was shocked by the thing is really amazing. Like the story and the stuff in it for, let's say, everything but the absolute ending. Really cool
Everything
stuff.
after the DLC starts is like, yo, maybe you shouldn't have done this.
We'll get to that. But like, all that's really amazing. I think the part that surprised me is the fact they do tell a whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Because I genuinely thought, like, they have a Hateful Eight situation. They have, like, the crazy 99s or crazy 88s situation. And I assumed we would kill 4 of them and then the game would end based on how everyone talks about this.
Right.
And it's like, no, like, everything they set up in the story of the game concludes. And the normal ending for the game is just kind of, it's over. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And as they watch from the place, they have a feeling of it is over, and it rolls credits. And I'm like, okay, all right, that didn't seem as bad as I thought. Then we get the true ending, and it's like, let me just salt that wound.
Yeah, and they literally, after you get the regular ending, it's like, hey, you should go get the true ending. It's really important. Like, they don't let you even think for a second that was it.
Yeah. They're like, no, dude, you need to ace all these levels in order to get that. And then I go, we did? And so we had to play the last level again with no differences.
Yes.
Until the ending. I'm like, this is insane. Why didn't you just give us the true ending the first time? And to some extent, I kind of, I don't want that because I think that original ending's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think you still could have made a sequel based on that original ending.
Oh, sure. You could even have the same thing that was in the true ending, and that would have been more exciting than what we did do.
Yeah, Bob was too good. That's the real problem. He got S rating on so many levels that the game wasn't ready for it.
I hit the QTEs right.
Good job.
I didn't expect it. The game didn't expect that to happen. They didn't account for this.
This image we have for aggro doesn't seem right. Like aggro's actually on this week. This is the sort of bit we pull when he's not actually on. So I think we should put up a reference image for aggro.
Now we're cooking with gas.
There we go. We'll just do that. And...
You need to set it up so whenever he talks, it jostles.
That is genuinely one of the most cursed things I've ever seen.
I'm glad you agree.
Right?
I like that you cut out the face app part so people just think that's an expression aggro has made.
Yeah, this is just images he sends you on his phone while driving.
Merry Christmas.
Look forward to
Somebody's
the
gonna be
calendar.
like, what? You guys have a Quaker on the podcast? I thought that was against their religion.
There are loopholes in every religion, it turns out. But yeah, Ashura's Wrath, if they remade it as a normal action game that was relatively high quality, would have been awesome. I would be really excited for that. They should do that.
Yeah, Ashura is really cool.
Yeah, that story's awesome. I love a lot of the mythology it's pulling from and the things it does with it.
Yeah, just turning all that stuff into robots for no reason. It's really neat.
Yeah.
Not much does that.
And it's super cool. They're never going to do that. So this is what the game is. At least on back compat, it runs at a locked 30, has fast load times, and no insane pop-in.
Right.
which is a real accomplishment for a game running on Unreal Engine during 7th gen.
Yeah, it doesn't look the same at all. Like, this does not look even similar because of that.
Yeah.
I'm so used to everything being like there was a camera cut. Everything is now untextured goop.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. So I appreciate it doesn't do that anymore. Aside from that, I don't really have much to say about Asura's Wrath other than we have such a good lineup for 7th Gen Wonderland that even though this was a really enjoyable game, except for, in my opinion, till the ending felt like the true ending DLC conclusion felt like falling downstairs a bit. I had a great time. I thought it was very, very cool. I was surprised by how much the story did complete itself based on everything said by everyone ever. I still think this might be one of the lowest games on 7th Gen Wonderland because it's such a good list.
Yeah, I like the last 2 games we played a lot more, and I'm confident in all of them except for Folklore.
Except for Folklore. We're all scared of Folklore.
Yeah, I even looked up Bullet Witch and was like, okay, that thing's only like 3 hours, so it's not going to be a big problem. And I remember enjoying it.
I'm just going to say this again just to be sure. Aggro, you owned Folklore just like the rest of us and did not beat it, correct?
Yeah, which is really weird for early PS3 title.
Right? Do you still own it by chance?
I think I've got it sitting around here somewhere.
Cool, that would save us $30 if we could buy that or borrow that.
Right?
I mean, it'll save you $5.
No.
Oh. You shouldn't have told him the price.
That'll save us $2. Aggro sells it to me for $1. Yes. Yeah, let me be clear. Bob owned a copy. I owned a copy. Aggro owned a copy. Lily owned a copy, and not one of us fucking beat it. That is a flag.
Yeah, that's
that's scary.
I beat Heavenly Sword. Just to be clear here.
Did you get a sticker?
I should have.
This is the fucking I voted sticker. I beat Heavenly Sword.
Look, man, there was a lot of Eye of Judgment to be played back then, all right? I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, that's probably a flat upgrade. Folklore looks amazing, though, and it has, like, Otacon who solves crime mysteries.
Which is very cool.
It is very cool. Hopefully, that game is good. I am excited to play it eventually, but I am very scared.
Yes.
I'm like, oh boy, we're going to go spelunking. But that's it. That's all the comments I wanted to make about that. Bob, did you have anything else you want to say about Asura's Wrath?
Man, that DLC stuff was really disappointing. I honestly was spent all this time being like, well, surely when we get to that, when we get to see the real ending, it'll be very satisfying and cool. And it feels like it almost retcons itself immediately.
Yeah, it definitely sets up a thing that it doesn't completely follow through on. It's like, oh, this person absorbed this person, and that's now going to be the largest thing. How do you deal with the true evil that has become this, but wants you to do that? And then it's like, well, I guess they didn't absorb them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's not...
Then his goal changes immediately to be like, well, I want you to be my vessel or successor or something. And it's
successor. It was consistently at least that.
I think it started as vessel, and then it changed to successor. I'm pretty sure. It was weird.
I don't know. But yeah, so that feels bad.
Yeah,
there's a few different things about that with the ending where I feel like it feels a little bad narratively speaking. For example, the final fight with your rival, where it's just like, this doesn't really land for me.
I don't think there's anything more unforgivable in a DLC than do this shit we already had you do more than once in the main game.
Yeah, it always feels bad.
I would legitimately rather the DLC just have less content.
Yeah, that's how I always land on that too.
Yeah, it really felt like that was going to just be a cutscene, and then it became a huge fight, and it's like,
it became a whole level thing with a flashback and then a modern timeline fight.
Yeah, and every time that game is like, I need to fill time, fight a room of enemies
in the ancient history.
Yeah, like 100 years ago, or I guess
and they're
1,200 years ago.
And they're all incredibly generic enemy designs.
Fight the gorillas again.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the elephant fight again.
That part's really unfortunate. Yeah.
But that's all I got to say. I was like, man, I remembered this game being disappointing, but this is This is even worse than I thought.
Oh, wow,
in some
okay.
ways.
See, I came in expecting pretty massive disappointment of there are these 7 guys. You kill 2. Play the DLC that rushes the next 5.
Oh yeah, we did play the Street Fighter DLC, and I thought that stuff was pretty cool. The part where it
was
played
funny.
in 2D and was Street Fighter like was awful.
Yeah.
But when we got to the real fights, it's like, this is pretty cool.
It's funny to have a gimmick fight for a DLC though.
It is.
Yeah, no, that was really funny stuff and really good too.
I wish they dubbed it in English.
You know, as Chris is a big fan of, it allowed you to start power scaling Ashura. How powerful is Asura compared to Street Fighters?
It's really funny that he has a command grab on Ryu that just destroys Ryu's nuts. Especially since Kinnikuman, which I know everybody at Capcom is familiar with, literally has a character with 6 arms who has a big he jumps up and slams you down move, and it's not that. It's some entirely different thing to destroy Ryu's balls.
Big fan of ball busting over at Capcom. I enjoyed how much, as a filthy casual enjoyer of Naruto who's only engaged through the games, I could look at all the shit and be like, yeah, that really is straight up Naruto shit.
Yeah, it's hilarious how many things just like, this is directly from Naruto.
No,
like,
these are
not
arms.
Even,
These aren't foxtails. These are arms.
Not even one little degree of separation, just like copy paste.
It's so funny because for people who don't connect the dots, CyberConnect made this, and they're the people who made the Naruto games.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious. It's really fucking hilarious to me.
I want to play that Demon Slayer game and see if they literally have Naruto moves to the characters that did not have that much fight scenes in the actual Demon Slayer anime.
Yeah, I have to wonder. I would have to watch Demon Slayer before doing that just to know the level of, oh boy, this didn't happen. But yeah, anyways, that's it for Asura's Wrath. I played a game. You may have heard of it. It is on sale for a little over $40 right now, I think, on Green Man Gaming or whatever. Harvestella.
Ooh.
I picked that up in the tiny amount of free time I had in the last week. And I played 9 hours and stayed up way too late and fucked myself pretty royally.
Uh-huh.
But I got a shitload done in it, and I had a great time. Harvestella sure is a good, but should have more money in the cutscenes and have voice acting. It's to the point, guys, for people who haven't played it, let me explain. You will not hear a character talk when you meet them, and you may not hear them talk for hours until they say a line and you go, who was that? Because you are now surrounded by 4 fairies, and you don't know which one's which anymore.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm used to things where they have a little bit of voice acting, but they get that voice acting like up front when the character comes in.
Yeah.
Not like hours later when they're doing a random piece of dialogue like that.
You leave an area and then they say, have a good day. And I'm like, who said that? And it's like terrifying. That thing really deserved more money. I'm really enjoying the plot of it. I'm really enjoying the simplistic RPG gameplay, but also the simplistic farming gameplay. It was a nice change of pace.
Every time I look over, I'm impressed by the artwork in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's got really great looking environments, character designs.
Yeah, as it turns out, running a game at 4K, actual 4K or 120 frames per second, makes art shine.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Like, one of the coolest things we did with the Xbox One X was play Final Fantasy 13 in 4K. The massive upgrade on hair rendering quality and all of the assets was insane. I don't need ray tracing as much as I need these games to be sharp and run well. That is all I actually want. The art in Harvestella is really good. Harvestella was a nice break. See, Harvestella is a game that deals with the somber tones of death and what it means to move past someone's death and what it means to carry yourself up to the point of death well. You see, I just came from Xenoblade 3. It was a real big change of pace. Definitely nothing like that in Xenoblade. I'm like, glad I did that for 56 hours. Now time to shit. It was a lot like the Clerks animated series bit of another burn ward. I beat Xenoblade this week.
Ooh.
Xenoblade, it's in fact a good. I'm never, however, going to play any other Xenoblade before this one. For a few different reasons. Namely, 2's art style's hideous. one's combat is seemingly less engaging, like it's less involved, seemingly, from everything I've looked at. So then I end up in the same pit, the same trap as Chris, as we both go, is Xenoblade X Sonic CD?
It's okay. Just bypass all that and play Xenogears.
Okay.
I mean, I do intend to do that, but I already promised people if they do a Switch port of Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm gonna play it, and then I'm going to kick open their door in a pith helmet with an elephant gun if that game is bad. Like, I warned you.
Yeah, I have to wonder. Maybe they'll wait till the Switch 2 to bring out Xenoblade X. They'll be like, hey, check this out.
Maybe.
That would be a pretty good filler project in between, because they spent a while working on 3.
They did.
Yeah.
They, absolutely.
Yeah,
they got that HD port between them, so it would be like that for
Yeah,
this.
so it would make Nintendo clearly seems to use these ports as like holes to fill holes in their franchise's release schedules, where it's like, well, we don't have a real one done yet.
Also,
Yeah.
it seems to let them get used to the new technology.
Right. Which, Monolith has some pretty good technology over there. Like, the temporal AA definitely helps it look a lot sharper than 2 and 1 on the Switch. Because I was like, yeah, this is a little blurry, but it's not that bad. It's fine. Then I look at Xenoblade 1 and 2 footage. I'm like, oh my god, Jesus! I remembered it being blurry, but good Christ.
Yeah, it's really blurry.
Xenoblade 3 is great. It's I get to experience what the audience experiences for me, knowing about Yippee, and looks like Lance wants something a bit meatier, as Bob is now being subjected to it.
I can't believe it took 6 or 7 hours to get to my first Yippee.
Yeah, you need to unlock chain attacks first. I know.
Too long.
That's called delayed satisfaction. Don't worry, you did a chain attack well when you get to hear 2 Yippies. I did that once in the whole game. I was like, ooh, I lined up 2 Senna strategies.
I haven't got that yet, which makes sense.
You get to. Well, I can't remember how long I had to go before I was able to line that up perfectly, because that's
That's
chain attack.
chance.
Chain attack is complicated and random. But I played enough Xenoblade around Tosh to damage her. I feel bad for that.
It doesn't take much. I booted that game, and within the first 10 seconds of playing, they're like, you're a lifesaver.
Yeah, no, they say you're a lifesaver in the first combat encounter, and I started melting. I'm like, God, Xenoblade is Xenoblade. It will always be Xenoblade. Incredible. Really enjoyable. I really like that game. No real complaints other than I frankly think turn-based JRPG systems are more engaging than the combat they have in it. That's my preference.
Yeah.
And I wish the ending went a little different because of stuff I can't talk about, obviously. But aside from that, I really enjoyed it. That was great. That was a really good time, and I look forward to the day that mainline Final Fantasies could have a plot that good again, because as I started discussing it with people went, yeah, I think the last time that happened was 10, and I just started melting.
Yeah, not counting 14, which I love 14.
Right.
It's in an entirely different genre, and you can't. Listen, Final Fantasy 14 is fucking great, but I don't think it's fair to say to a person who likes this entirely different genre that this franchise largely is, and say, we'll play this entirely different thing for a good story.
That's also much larger. Like, in order to
it's also 400 hours long.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, when they finish putting in that you can do all the dungeons solo with NPCs thing, sign me up.
Yeah, I do need to put that to the test. I'm very intrigued. Man, that will be an ambitious stream series if that happens, if it works at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed Xenoblade 3. I can see why everyone thought it was a really special game and a really great offering for the Switch. It was truly the only game that came out in the middle of the year that mattered.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It could have come out in the middle of the year.
What's that?
From Nintendo.
Don't talk about it.
Stay tuned for the end of this episode of Big Thing to Mention. We're doing a year-long news roundup where we talk about the highlights throughout the year, including my suffering.
Very exciting.
Aside from that, I think I'm done talking about what I've been playing. Bob, what have you been playing?
I've played a few things, but I guess I'll go straight to me playing Xenoblade 3.
Okay.
I did not expect all 6 party members to be playing at once. That is a lot of voice lines. A lot.
It's really funny.
Of voice lines.
I told Bob sometimes something will happen in combat and everyone just shouts a different line, and I'm like, I can't understand any of you.
I was so used to the 3 party members of 1. And I was like, why does everyone seem to know every single character's quotes? I would simply take lines out of my party immediately after 100 times of hearing, hear that? Lons wants something a bit meatier.
A bit meatier.
But that is not a choice. No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody talked about that.
Meanwhile, I've never played a Xenoblade, so I'm playing this and I'm like, 6 people, okay.
I actually like that because I feel like the limited amount of people you could have in a party was always a technical limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I would much rather just be like, no, we have a party of 6 people and you just get to use them all.
Well, the even crazier thing is it's more than 6. Like, have you unlocked the 7th rotating chair?
Yes, there's the rotating chair.
So it's 7.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always split on this sort of thing because I have experience with Star Ocean 5, where the entire gimmick was
a shitload of people.
Yeah, all characters will be playing at once. And it's like, you made the worst combat system in the games ever. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was just a mess.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that a bit.
But of course, this is
way better.
Weird. Yeah, this is a weird like MMO style system where it works way better than a fairly access system for something like that.
Yeah. As it turns out, the less engaged you make your combat for a large group of combatants, the better that works.
Yeah. Yeah, and they seem to stay fairly on task. Like, you can set up a chain of things, and they will usually figure out, like, if you do the break, then someone will automatically do the next step of toppling it, and someone else will automatically do the step of dazing it.
Mm-hmm. And then there's launch.
Yes, which I haven't really gotten much of yet, because that's...
You can do a chain attack while they're launched, and they will spin the entire chain attack. It's the funniest shit in the world.
That makes sense.
I love it.
I've actually been a little, like, underwhelmed, but compared to the first game as far as story and music go.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 1, I feel like, has a more interesting story just because all of these people that have unique appearances and stuff have a really different culture. And it has a classic JRPG feel because of that. Like, you find the wing people, and that's after hours.
Yes.
Like the people with the wings on their heads. They have their own culture, and it's weird to you that they even exist.
Oh my god. So it's like Breath of Fire?
I guess.
2? The best SNES RPG according to Retro Island Gaming.
I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. I mean, Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 6 are there, but I haven't played Breath of Fire.
If Breath of Fire 2 was translated by a literate person, then that would be an easy call, possibly.
But yeah, and said in this, which happens like right away, you find out that all your party members are kind of a monoculture sort of thing. Like, everyone has the same backstory, which is interesting for the story, and it feels like they can do something with it, but it's less exciting as Xenoblade 1 was to me.
As cultural discoverability goes, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I get that.
And also the Shadow console, like, cutaways aren't doing it for me yet. They probably will eventually, but that's...
I feel like the opening of Xenoblade 3 is possibly the lowest part of the story. Yeah. That's how I feel. It feels like, imagine you started listening to a song and the person had the volume dial turned all the way to the left and they just kept slowly turning it up. So for the first bit there, you're just kind of like, get on with it. That's how I felt anyways, going through it, but it was neat.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, the way the things the story are about are super obvious to an onlooker, which I'm sure will expand out and go into more interesting directions, but you have to go through the paces of this, of like, okay, these two societies are killing each other.
Bob's just saying this because he's seen Logan's Run. He's like, I get it. You know, they live for a few years and then they float up in the ceremony. I get it. Please, come on. Everyone's seen Logan's Run. Please innovate. Everyone's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Excuse me. But yeah.
And the music is still really good, but Xenoblade 1 music is kind of
it's some tier, you know. Isn't that Shimomura did that soundtrack? I think that was Yoko Shimomura.
I don't remember. I think it is the same guy as 3, but I'm not sure.
Did Shimomura? I don't know if Shimomura worked on 3. I actually do not know. But yes, some songs are on 1 are done by Yoko.
Those games have a lot of composers.
They do.
Yeah, which makes sense. They're fucking eternities long.
Yeah. Also, the pause music in this reminds me of some specific JRPG. I can't place it. It is similar in style to Parasite Eve, though.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the pause menu music in this is possibly the most somber in a JRPG in forever. It's so like lilting piano of sadness.
Mm-hmm. It is very PS1 core.
Yes, and I appreciate that immensely.
Yeah. So that's I'm enjoying that. I would definitely keep playing it.
Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm done. I've done 7 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm like 10 hours in or something. They just keep introducing things, those new tutorials, and then joked about, yeah, that goes in after you beat the game.
There's so many tutorials, and I'm just looking over, seeing Bob go through them. I'm like, yeah, it keeps going until you beat the game, and a tutorial pops up that says, hey, that was the ending. These are the credits. After this, you can do New Game Plus. In order to do that, you go to the title screen, you select New Game Plus. Because literally, they'll invent a new system and be like, hey, check this out. You can equip arts. You'll go, great. Okay, I'll equip it for the other characters. You tab over to lands and it goes, hey, check this out. And you go, no, there are 6 characters on my team. Do not do this. You can equip arts.
Yeah, no, those tutorials are really funny because they always end with fully back out of the menu.
Do it.
I'm like, guys, there's 6 characters. I want to use all of them. No, back out of the menu first and then open it again.
Yeah, something about the way they made it, it just does that, and that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Xenoblade quotes popping up.
Yeah, of course. God, yeah, that causes damage immediately.
Oh,
I was thinking there like, I'm kind of hungry, but I want something a bit meaty.
Oh, God, no!
Oh, no.
That's terrible. I don't need that. I feel like I'm safe and I'm starting to detox.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the tiny voice in my head that goes yippee for the rest of my life. And that voice is named Toast because she literally does that now.
Oh, no.
And there's no fixing that. Anyway.
That Street Fighter 6 beta went up this weekend.
That is true.
Last weekend, I guess, is how you put that.
Yeah.
We're leading up to the game of the year, and I need to play games.
Uh-huh.
But the Street Fighter 6 beta is out. And I was like, I'll play it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
8 hours later.
Yeah.
You fool.
Yeah. Oh my God, that game is so good.
It is.
It's absurd.
It's great.
It always looks incredible. It feels great. And there's so many different things that could have potential different reactions of like, oh, well, you can do this in this situation, or this, or this, or this. And I'm like, this is insane. This feels amazing. Ken is a ton of fun. I was like, I played a ton of Chun-Li the first beta set. So this time I was like, I'm going to try play as many of the other characters as I can. So I played a bunch of Ryu and Ken. I actually enjoy Ken more than Ryu.
Yeah.
By a lot. They added a ton of things that are just a lot of fun to do with him. Like, he has this thing where he does a tiny little dash forward and then can do like an axe kick.
Yes. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Street Fighter 6 is so transparently
isn't made of French fries anymore.
No.
That helps. But yeah, you can see from space, Street Fighter 6 is like the first stellar Street Fighter since 3. But, you know, arguably.
Obviously. Like, there's no question. This is the first time I've enjoyed Street Fighter anywhere near as much as 3. Also, I got down some perfect parries, and those feel great. I did not even know those were in it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that there was the parry thing where you just hold it, but if you time it just right, you do just do it.
And you get that frame advantage.
You get the frame advantage. You get to immediately just own them.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good.
Yeah. No, everything about that game feels good. Like it should. It's so good that we're getting amazing Street Fighter and Tekken in the same year.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Tekken has a lot to live up to.
Yeah, now that Street Fighter's finally woken up after 21 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's some stiff fucking competition.
Tekken failed to be like, I'm basically around as good as 5 this whole time, which makes me immaculate by comparison to Street Fighter 4 and 5.
Hmm.
Also, Kimberly might be a war criminal.
Yeah, I experienced that in the last one. Yeah,
I've seen some nasty things online just from people showing videos of the combos they do, and then I've encountered some of it. Like, gee, why are the only silvers I've ever fought Kimberly's?
Strange, isn't it? I know what bullshit you're going to pull, and I'm going to disconnect.
I also tried playing a Sir bit, and I jumped up through the ranks really quick.
Cool. Looking forward to that patch. You know what? I never get to say this on content. I always say it in conversations with people, but I saw it cropped up in chat, and I'm going to say it. No human being in their life would ever go, hey, you don't mean Street Fighter 4, you mean Arcade Edition? So I don't want to fucking hear these people when I say Street Fighter 3, they mean, you mean Third Strike? I'm like, yes, obviously. Yeah, obviously, I mean the best version of 3. Dumbass.
Yeah, when I say Alpha 2, I don't mean like the original release of Alpha 2.
Calling it Third Strike makes sense in a world where you need to proposition someone to fight you on a specific version of a video game. Outside of that, no, stop being a psychopath. It's fine. You can just call it 3. It is, in fact, an edition of Street Fighter 3.
It is. It's the one everyone knows about.
It's the one that's the best fighting game ever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I'm very excited for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
I hope Tekken 8 is amazing.
I'm really excited for them to put in Manal, because she's going to be a war criminal. I can tell just from the fucking things they've shown of her, because she's going to be that Laura Rainbow Mika model of like, no, I'm up in your face and I have grabs.
Yeah.
Is that the super
That's
buff
the French
punch
lady.
girl?
No,
that is the French lady
that does all the
who,
JoJo poses.
Yes.
Yeah, where she has shit like, I have a vacuum normal that brings you to me.
I'm very excited. It's like they took Abel and made an interesting character.
God, Abel sucked so bad. What the fuck were they thinking? Here's our new Street Fighter 4 character, a guy.
Yeah, he was labeled as their protagonist basically for 4 at launch. I'm sorry. Luke is bad, but he's no Abel. Like, no even close.
Look, Luke is basically just Diet Alex.
Yeah, at least
which
he has
is
the
fine.
Popeye thing going, which gives him something.
Yeah.
Whereas Abel had nothing.
Right.
Luke also has this really big energy of being like a dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, it's all of his faces and poses and demeanor. So that helps a lot compared to Abel, who is stern guy with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play Street Fighter, and I just had to look this guy up, and I have no memory of him existing.
I know, right?
Aggar's like, isn't this like a parry, like a training doll you just punch?
Which guy in the background of a King of Fighters stage is this?
His mouth opens a little too much, and he pumps the fist in the air. That's his claim to fame. Yeah, no, Abel sucks.
Yeah. I'm going to keep calling Luke Steve as long as I live. I can't stop.
I hate this. Why don't I get an out?
But yeah, the more people complain about the box art for 6, the more I'm like, I don't know. Don't fix Luke's face. The only redeeming part of it is he's making that horrible face.
Yeah. That's a box that stands out.
You can add more characters, but still have Luke's awful face.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see the last gen version of 6, because it is coming out on PS4.
Oh, God, it is. Man, that's going to look weird and load for a very long time.
Oh, God. There better be a toggle to be like, do not match me with last gen people. It's a fighting game. I want it to be instant.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting games are actually the #1 genre I was talking about, would really benefit from this SSD tech.
Oh yeah, the ranked I don't think was in it for the last beta because we just had to sit at the arcade cabinets and wait for people to play us. Whereas this, you can just turn on ranked and it just keeps popping you into fights. It's great.
Cool. That is great.
Like, okay, you did it. You have an awful lobby system, but
I think the lobby system here is neat. There's something a lot better about that experience to me than all the Blaze Blue shitty ones.
it is. It's better than those,
Yeah.
but it's still like an overly complicated lobby system.
It also just has the list view, so you don't even have to run around to do it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, so it kind of fixes the number one problem of those lobby systems where it's like, you don't have to run to the fucker to challenge him. You can just see who's open for a fight and then do it.
I just hope they show private. I just hope private lobbies just have like a private lobby should have as little like fiddling with the lobby as possible.
Yeah. Man, I hope we can do like a private lobby that looks cool though, because it would be really neat to just see a bunch of GigaBoots fans just running around and having these fucking Stretch Armstrong looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, I can make some real freaks.
Everyone's such a freak. They should do what was it? the Dr. Livesey walk, that weird animated thing from a side profile where it's just the
that.
Everyone should walk like that with their custom characters in the online.
That's the Russian cartoon, right?
I think it was French, but yeah, that thing, that absolutely ancient thing. We need to not have normal walk animations, is what I'm saying.
Fair.
We need something very weird.
As far as other stuff I played,
Yeah.
I checked out more of Neon White. I played the demo previously, so I had to play all the way through that again because they didn't transfer the save data, of course.
Speaking of not transferring, hey Bob, did you know the PS5 version does have leaderboards?
Oh yeah,
The integrated feature on the PS5, so that way it lets people know when you beat their times.
that's cool.
Not for my wallet.
No. Yeah, I don't think I'll be rebuying it on there.
Are you enjoying it?
I like it, but it's a lot. Like I've played 8.5 hours and I feel like I'm only halfway through or something. Because you rank up as you go, and I start ranked like 100. I'm at rank 46 now. And I enjoy it, but it gets a little repetitive because it's all about like complete a level and then complete it again to get the best time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fine with doing that, but then they have the other goal for each level, which is find a present. And you get the present so you can do like dating sim elements in the hub world between missions where you go like present all these things to characters to get more plot from them.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically have to do these to get all the story.
Mm-hmm.
And they just hide them in really annoying ways. Like I'd be fine if I just knew where the present was and had to figure out how to get to it. But a lot of the times I'll just go into the level and then have to just search. Like they've hidden it in some way that you cannot see it. Like they had it under a platform you wouldn't check. So I'm checking everything to try and find these platforms. I honestly, like, if they just had the highlights from, like, you could see it all the way through, it, like, have x-ray vision for it through all obstacles, just so you know where it is. Because there's still a platforming challenge to get to it, and I'm cool with that. Like, that a lot of that's, like, saving up your special jumps and stuff to a part of the level where you wouldn't normally, and then doing something weird to get to there. And that part's fun. Like, figuring out the puzzle around that is good, but...
Yeah, by the back half, I had to look up a guide because they get really unhinged.
Yeah, the first few missions have a few unhinged ones, but it did feel like the farther I went in the game, the more it was like, you're not going to see this. But other than that, I've been enjoying it. I think the story's kind of neat, and it's fun. Like, it's just a fun little first-person shooter that's all about these speedruns. If they achieved doing something like that was not being inti-creates, so not having any weird brain diseases to make it bad.
It's fun to hear Steve Bloom again in a very non-Steve Bloom type character.
It is extremely Steve Bloom sounding.
Yeah.
But he is like if Spike Spiegel was lame. Like, that's exactly it.
That is exactly who he is. The devs of this are obviously the biggest fans of Cowboy Bebop in the entire world, specifically the English dub of Cowboy Bebop.
Yes. I'm surprised they didn't get the Neon Red to have the voice actress from Julia.
Mm.
Because
Wonder if she's still in voice acting.
yeah, I don't know. I did not look that up. Because her design is, well, her design is straight up Fujiko, which is pretty parallel to Julia.
Mm.
Maybe they thought it would be weird because that voice actress is married to Steve Bloom.
Oh. Huh. I wouldn't known.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't assume that. That's crazy. Bob, what else have you been playing?
I also played Ghost Song. This is another game I played the demo of for one of the demo roundups and was like, well, I should go play the full game. And then it just is like, play the 2 hour and a half that the demo was first because the save doesn't transfer.
Cool. That's what you get for trying to keep an eye out for good games.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, buddy.
So I got past where the demo ended,
Mm-hmm.
and then it introduces the concept for the rest of the game, and I kind of just lost interest immediately.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because leading up to that, you're not sure exactly what you're doing, and you're just exploring this big area. Because this is a Metroidvania that's extremely just a Metroid-like with some Dark Souls elements.
Okay. All right.
And you play as a Metroid knockoff-looking character. Like, you look like Samus, but with a coat. Or I guess a poncho. But once you get past that demo area, then you find this thing that gives you a mission. Is like, I need shift parts. We need these 5 chip parts. We're going to highlight them on your map. Go find them. I was like, that's kind of boring. That's not at all exciting.
From a narrative angle or...
Yeah. It's not
I don't
doing
know
it
what
for
you're
me.
talking about. That's the plot of Toe Jam and Earl, and that's a banger from beginning to end.
That is true.
Fair.
Which one, first one or second one, Dan says. Bullshitting.
We do not talk about Toe Jam and Earl 2.
Is this from the guy who brings up Vector Man?
Okay, I always get this confused.
The second one's the 2D platformer.
Okay.
The first one is one of the first roguelikes.
Yes. The first one is the one I'm familiar with, but I was like, is Edgar out here batting for the weird platformer that they made?
Just to be clear, my experience with Toe Jam and Earl, I ran into the second game first and I went, this is fucking weird. Then I ran into the first game and I went, this is fucking weirder. This made that look sane. Oh, well.
So I pretty much dropped Ghost Song.
Okay,
immediately then.
good to hear.
No
No Funkotron saving this time.
And I also played some Signalis.
Yes, Signalis.
What
Are you? What are you playing these on, Bob?
I played them on Xbox Game Pass.
That's great.
Was the Xbox Series X. So many X's when I have to talk about this.
You know, this may be the best game that was on Xbox Game Pass that was played and is going to be talked about at the beginning of this podcast.
Chris had said this has a lot of stuff that's Silent Hill 2-esque. I did not expect it to be as direct. Like, literally, your save points are red monitors that are red squares that make you go, like, it all zooms in on the screen and then it has all the exact same sound effect.
That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, you beat the opening little, like, you start in a crashed ship and then you crawl into a little hole. And then you wake up in the intro to Silent Hill 2, literally, like you're in the same dusty old bathroom, looking in the mirror and wondering where you are.
Is any of this real?
Mm-hmm.
This is your main character looking for someone?
Yes, your main character is looking for a lost lover. Maybe not lover. Unclear.
Okay. All right. How is it though?
It was pretty cool. Like, this is
Okay.
a really good feeling, like, throwback to PS1 era not RPGs, survival horror.
There was a pre-rendered cutscene in Harvestella and nearly lost my mind. Because I had spent so much of Xenoblade being like, remember pre-rendered cutscenes that looked like CGI movies? And then when Harvestella pulls out its pre-rendered cutscene, it's just hilarious because the whole reason it's there is they went, we can't render the ship and this. That's too much to show on screen. Come on. Doesn't even look that great.
Man, I really, really hope Xenoblade 3 does anything as good as Metal Face in Xenoblade 1. Metal Face is hilarious. He is an amazing, like, built up to be epic villain, and then brought down to the reality that is him.
I'm gonna say that feeling happens. Whether or not it happens with a giant metal person is debatable and questionable as you go into the shades of gray there. I'd like to note Xenoblade does have pre-rendered cutscenes.
It does.
They're very, very small and they're constricted and they look like the game. So
yeah, you can see the macro blocking though, and they have to do so they
it's
can
like,
do cuts.
Ooh, they have more than 12 people on screen, or ooh, they're showing a thing somewhere else. You were saying Signalist?
Yeah, Signalist. I definitely suggest that if you like survival horrors like that. That is really well done.
Cool.
It's got a cool anime art style too. And
So-
it goes first person sometimes, which is neat.
So it looks like Excel Saga?
Yeah, actually.
That's an anime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
And then
that's
she does hits you with the nah nah ha ha nah 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 ha
And a naha naha.
and a nah ha nah ha.
No, and a naha naha. This is completely different. People are like, I watched Excel Saga. I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like, you should have had the DVDs and watched the fucking.
You should have had brain problems.
And watched the last episode 7 times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I definitely suggest it. It is extremely Silent Hill 2. As someone who's gone through that game 2 times recently,
Yes.
there's so many things like, this is a straight up remade scene. What are you doing?
Having a fun time.
Yeah, having a fun time.
Everybody looked at Konami once and said, you're not going to eat this?
Right?
I'll eat this. I have not played Vampire Survivors yet. I want to extend some feelers to be like, guys, is the phone version as good?
I feel like there's no way that that's very good. Like, I guess you have a big enough phone where it might be.
I have a massive
doable.
I have one of the best performing phones in the world.
Because a lot of it is like you have to carefully
huge.
navigate around things, and have your thumb literally in the way of where you're trying to walk might be a problem.
Yeah, that would probably be a problem.
Okay, I mean, I've been playing it on my phone for the last couple of weeks.
Ooh. How is
and
it?
yeah, on-screen thumb joysticking is an acquired skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like doing precise movements is not really that much of a problem. Do I think I could do them better on a stick? Yeah, I definitely most likely could, but it doesn't get in the way at all. It hasn't been a problem.
Aggro, does it have a analog stick analogy you can use on the screen where you touch it anywhere, or is it a thing where you literally move the character around with your thumb?
Yeah, no, you touch the screen anywhere and move a direction, and that's what it takes as the input.
Okay, that's doable.
Yeah, that's a lot better than we put the stick here and you will touch it here.
Or you have to touch your character to move your character.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done
that. Would be
that.
absolute garbage. No, it's,
Right,
it's pretty responsive. It works pretty well. Like last time I was on, I said like, oh, Chris is describing this game that I have 4 of on my phone already. I guess I'll go get the one they're all aping. Wow, this is a lot better. Amazing.
Oh yeah, people are saying it's even controller compatible. So this could be, for people who don't know, we need to fill out the mobile game category. We got to find something to fight Pointy, so I might as well prop up Vampire Survivors.
Oh yeah, I did play a little bit of Hollow Cure. I need to play more of it. This is the Hollow Live
Vampire Survivors fan game.
Yes. Man.
Or official game.
It's a fan game.
Okay. So
that game looks really nice. I did you roll for characters in that instead of having unlocked specifications like Vampire Survivors does.
Mm-hmm.
So the first roll I did, I was able to pull oh my god, what's that dog VTuber?
Corone?
Corone. So I need to go back and play that immediately so I can play as her, because I turned it off right after unlocking her, and I was like, okay, I need to go back to that.
Bob's like, this is for later, and he sticks the sandwich in his beaten jeans pocket.
Yes.
Here you go. I'll be back for you. I guess that's everything you played, Bob.
Yes.
So we're now throwing it to Chris Wolfhart.
Okay, I beat Signalis.
Cool.
That game's very cool. I don't know what else to say.
Is
I
the
can't really
ending
say
literally
anything
just
else.
Silent Hill 2?
Well, I can't say if the ending is just
Fair.
Silent Hill 2. But I will say that it does have Silent Hill endings in the sense that it has very similar, you get this ending based on how aggressive you were or how much you
Oh,
healed
wow.
type thing.
They went the whole way. Wow.
The last chunk of that game sure has a lot of fuck rooms. And what I define as a fuck room is a room you walk in and there's just 8 enemies in there.
Oh.
Luckily you can juke them pretty good because I don't think it's reasonable to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have enough ammo to kill them, but I don't think actually going in there to do it is very feasible, especially since you only have 6 inventory slots and constantly need to be juggling these keys and other items. Yeah, but I liked it a lot. It was great. I'll probably do another playthrough to get more endings someday. Not in the immediate future because there's other things I have to beat.
Yeah, Game of the Year.
I regrettably did not start Xenoblade 3 yet. That's because I started playing Est Libra Revision.
Ooh.
Est Libra Revision is a action RPG made by one guy over 15 years.
Whoa. Jeez.
That came out on Steam a little while ago. I put a screenshot of it in the Big Think Discord channel because this game looks surreal.
I'm going to put it up for people to see.
Yeah.
15 years. I wonder where it went. Definitely can't see that on screen
Jesus.
right now.
That's almost hard to accept as an image. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, you have to parse a lot of different parts of this.
Yeah, you're in town, and a lot of things in this game are made up of stock photos.
Huh.
Also, if you go look up like a soundtrack on YouTube, you'll find a playlist full of songs from different games and animes, and just these were free, so I used it.
There's something about this image, and I mean absolutely no offense. It looks like if Justice Egg made a video game.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Justice Egg does a lot of the thumbnail work for us. So, yeah, okay, I can see that. Absolutely. Where I just go, I'm so curious how this was put together. Because I've
Like,
often done that. Where
I'm
just like,
assuming this
how did
parallax is like Portrait of Ruin levels.
Yes, it kind of, yeah. This is very, very Igavania-esque. Like, it's an Igavania made by an insane person.
Ooh.
So here's all the ways you can get strong in Est Libra Revision.
Oh my God.
You can level up, and every time you level up, you get 5 stat points to spend. You can get better gear. You can master a piece of gear, which gives you either an additional point on your skill chart, which lets you equip more skills, or mastering a weapon or armor gives you a new skill. And an example of skills are like coin magnet. When you kill an enemy, you don't have to physically pick up the coins anymore. They just fly to you. Or you fall slower. You take less knockback. You do this faster. One is you die in one hit, but you deal triple damage.
That's good.
You also have a thing that's called grow. In the menu, it just says grow. And this takes you to a Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance-esque stat board.
What?
Oh.
That you go through with currency that every enemy drops. There's 6 colors of currency, and you use them to unlock permanent stat boosts. Or sometimes they'll just give you a powerful weapon, or sometimes they'll just give you some other insane benefit. And don't worry, you can convert any color to any other color at 3 times at 3 times the rate.
Yeah, this really does sound like an game made by an insane person.
Yeah, I was like, what if I just show in every system? I'll not be stopped.
Yeah, definitely. Like
you
I'm looking at
also-
gameplay here, and this looks like the final form of some Newgrounds Flash game. Just
And you also have the scales. These like a set of scales, like a left scale and a right scale. You put items on them, and just from your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they give you benefits, and if you like a rarer item will give you more benefits. But they also have a karmic weight, and the effect is reduced if the scales aren't balanced. And this all bundles together. And like stores sell weapons, but they don't just cost money; they cost money and drops from enemies. So it also has crafting elements. You also can craft just in your menu. This all piles together to make one of like the most addictive games I've played recently. Because it's just every single thing you do makes you stronger.
I've got
Because
like 24 hours to go on Harvestella. I can't be hearing about this crack cocaine lying next to me.
Right.
Like here's just a list of games I am 100% sure this developer loves. Ys,
Mm.
Egavanias,
Mm-hmm.
Odin Sphere, I'm pretty sure they played Dust and Elysian Tale because it has the same level up screen. It also has like a flying sidekick character. Also, this is not actually a Metroidvania, at least not yet.
Oh.
Each chapter you have a level that is more like a Order of Ecclesia level, where it's like it's
okay.
fairly linear and has a couple of side paths.
Okay.
And
yeah.
each level has like its own story. The story in this is bizarre, in a way of like, I need to see where this crazy story is going. Because the whole plot is you were a kid who your town was attacked by demons, and you got lost, and you found an abandoned house with a bird who can talk. And the bird doesn't know why they can talk, or even if they're actually a bird or if they're something else.
Evergrace?
Anyway, you leave the house after deciding you're going to find humans, and you have to travel for 8 years before finding anyone.
All right.
amazing.
And the story is, well, you found this town. Now you're trying to find your childhood friend and also where you're from, because you don't remember the name of your hometown. And there's more to it. Like, you keep having these weird dreams that imply maybe the entire game is actually a dream, or maybe these dreams are just dreams. Also, there's time travel. And also there's a mysterious organization that shows up and is like very early on and is like, you're fucking with fate. We have to kill you.
I have to say this because now this brain parasite is deeply embedded. Ram in chat pointed out a moment ago. They don't know why, and I don't know either. But this image just looks reminiscent of Mario is Missing.
Yes, I see it. I see where that, like, it's the photos in the background. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I can't.
But there's also the creator obviously has like a pretty on point sense of humor, because there'll be stuff like a character's following you now. So you go into the shop, which when you're not in the main town, you can still go into shops, but they're like tiny little houses floating on a balloon. And the clerk is like a weird magical creature. So you go into it and your companion just go, where is it? Where are we? What's going on? It is getting ported to Switch next year.
Okay, I was wondering because I heard something about that.
And the person who's published on Steam, the group publishing on Steam, says we're going to clean up the localization a little bit, because while it is far from bad, it is a little bit stilted. Like, I would say this isn't even the worst, like, localized thing that I've played that released at retail in the last couple of years. I've definitely played worse.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, like, this character is, it feels like they shouldn't be that eloquent. Like, it just feels like more like sometimes they picked weird words.
Okay, so it's not like that tier of it's auto translated like some of the
no, not even close. Not even close to that.
It's it's not a Breath of Fire 2 situation where you're like, is everyone in this world illiterate or?
But I need to make this very clear if you're considering getting this game. This is a you become strong game. This is not a you learn to dodge game.
Good.
This is a game where you use the mechanics to eradicate the things in front of you. It has a really cool system where you hitting enemies builds up your magic meter, and your magic meter decays really fast if you're not fighting. So you build up your magic meter hitting guys, and then you use called possession magic, where you turn into something and become invincible as you're turned into it and do some attack. And they have different elements and hit different parts of the screen, so you got to pick them based on what you're fighting.
The best part of this is I still haven't confirmed the existence of this game, and Chris could be fucking with us all and just being like, I crammed every armchair devs pitch I've ever pitched into one game.
I also drew this.
I played Mario's Missing and drew this.
This is another thing I would very much like to finish before Game of the Year, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to because it's apparently 50 hours long.
Holy shit!
What?
I have gotten through chapter 4. No, I've only gotten up through let me think. What was that area? Okay, I've gotten through chapter 3. There's apparently 8 chapters, and getting through up to chapter 3 took me about 10 to 12 hours.
The main plus sides on how long to beat is 33 and a half hours. The completionist is 54, but there is no normal entry. There's no main story entry for this game as Libra Revision.
But yeah, it's getting that. It's just it has the effect that like, oh, this a really good Diablo type game makes you feel this way of like, no, I need to become strong.
Yeah, that is the goal. Yeah, we got someone in chat saying...
Especially since Dan,
yeah.
the luck stat works in this game and is really important.
Oh my god! I won't have to sit there and question it the whole time I'm grinding for it.
But it's really cool that there's all these different weapons and there's a reason to use them because mastering them either lets you equip more skills, which are very important, or they give you some cool skill. Like I got double jump from a piece of armor.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, enemies also drop chests sometimes. There's 4 tiers of chests.
Oh my god.
There are normal chests, copper chests, which require a copper key, which you have to buy at a store or make, or silver and gold chests, which require silver or gold keys, which you can only make by getting a key mold from an enemy drop and then using something you mine. Yes, there's also mining. You have to buy pickaxes to mine. So you mine something called gold clay-like metal or silver clay-like metal and then combine them with the key mold to get these keys. And those chests exclusively drop high-level crafting recipes.
This is insane.
This is seriously starting to sound like a game you would get isekai'd into.
It really has that energy. But it's had this effect where almost every moment I'm not playing and it's like, I wish I was playing S Libra Revision. There's just something about an item that drops pretty frequently is called like it's like it has some complicated name that's from Indian mythology. It kills everything on screen. It doesn't work on bosses. It even says that in the text. It's like, this does a little bit of damage to bosses and nothing else. You throw it out and it explodes, and the game hangs in just the right way to make your brain feel good. Like it combines all the hit stops killing these enemies at once would have. And then all of the money and like stat currency siphons to you if you have those skills equipped.
I'm looking at footage, and the best way I can describe this game and how it looks, because Aggro made the thing of this is the end game of Newgrounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it looks like if Newgrounds made a Vanillaware game. The art is on that level. The amount of shit is on this level. It's really bizarre. Someone
compared it to like a remaster of a PSP game no one's ever heard of.
Right. I need to stop looking at that. I can't.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing what Chris is saying and I'm seeing footage and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I really appreciate this.
Game of the Year 2022.
Sorry, Gran Turismo 7.
I'm really scared it's going to be kind of high up on my list if I beat it before Game of the Year.
Jesus.
I played one other thing.
Well, whatever it was, I'm sure it complemented well with S. Libra.
I played High on Life for about 5 hours.
Oh.
High on Life's a lot like BioShock Infinite.
Well, there are the zip lines. Yeah, I saw that. Is there something else I don't know about?
It just feels a lot like BioShock Infinite in the moving and the shooting. And there's the zip lines. The zip lines definitely help. Also, the fact there's not very many enemies, much like BioShock Infinite.
Oh, I was like not emotionally prepared for this comparison.
I wasn't either, yeah.
This is the worst part of this is how much of a 7th gen shooter this is. The comedy almost doesn't compete with that.
Wow. So wait, is it a 2-gun system like every one of those?
No.
No, you have 4 guns, and people have told me you receive like a BFG in addition to that. But really you have 4. Imagine if you had the basic pistol and basic shotgun from a Ratchet and Clank game, and then 2 of the shittiest gimmick weapons in those games.
Yeah.
And that's your arsenal.
Yeah, every time I look at this game, I literally think, wow, that's like a Ratchet and Clank game that isn't funny at all, has a third of the weapons, and is hideous.
It sounds more like it has 1/10 of the weapons.
Well, some of the Ratchets only had 12.
Okay.
Your weapons are the pistol, which is the Morty pistol. It shoots bullets, and it has a grenade alt fire, except the grenade doesn't do damage. It knocks enemies into the air where they take more damage. Then you have the shotgun, which has an alt fire that shoots a big metal disc that bounces between enemies, and sometimes it bounces back to you, and you can reflect it back out with your melee attack.
Mm-hmm.
What they call those in Rage?
Dude, I don't fucking something stick.
Yeah, it was something stick.
God, fucking. Can you at least bring up Dark Sector, man? Jesus Christ.
Then you have the Needler from Halo, and its alt fire makes like a time bubble where time is slower, and you use it for platforming sometimes and puzzles. The Needler really sucks. Well, it's hard because like it has way too much spread. By the way, you can only actually like iron sights the pistol. If you try to iron sight the shotgun, it makes a vacuum effect that pulls guys to you and doesn't really work very well except on very tiny enemies. And on the time gun, you can shoot charge shots, which penetrate cover, but even that isn't very useful. I do like the angle of the Needler that when you fill a guy with needles, they don't explode on a timer like Halo. You have to melee them to make them explode, and they do a lot of damage. Or instead of meleeing them, you can use your Vanquish slide, which you can buy from the store. You get a Vanquish slide.
Ooh.
You can vanquish slide into them, and that makes the needler things explode, which is what I started doing on bosses because it was. You got to take the fun where you can find it.
By the way, Bob,
this game's
wing stick.
Thank you.
Chat remembered because, of course, that moment that a guy popped up and he saw us throw it and he screamed, "Wing stick!" And then it killed him in one hit.
Yeah, that was great. His head just popped off.
Stupid fucking game.
The last gun shoots little creatures that attack guys, and its alt fire shoots up one that can mind control guys if you already have them covered with other guys.
You know, when you describe mechanically these guns divested of what they say and what their personalities are, it's almost like it doesn't come across as the same game at all, actually. Because you're like, well, there's this thing, and it spawns little guys and they shoot out. It's like, there's a gun that won't shut the fuck up as it sits there and goes, "Oh, I make lots of babies. I could just do that for you, and I don't feel guilty at all when you shoot them at enemies, and that's I could just keep doing that." And
that's 80%. Like, this game really only has 2 jokes. Joke number 1 is, isn't it fucked up the things that happen in games?
Yeah.
And joke 2 is, we made a 7th gen shooter and didn't have the budget for it. Let us poke fun at our own egregious bad gameplay and asset reuse.
I saw someone from Giant Bob tweeting about how that's the Matt Hazard syndrome.
This game is a lot like Matt Hazard tonally.
I'd never want to play Hazard.
It does not have no boss fight in this game so far. I've done 4 out of, I believe there's 7. Is as interesting on any level as the boss against a Final Fantasy character in Matt Hazard, where you see his ATB bar filling above his head, and when it fills, he'll do an attack, so you have to take cover. That's in million times more clever than anything in High on Life.
I can confirm we're probably the only people on the internet talking about the mechanical differences between Matt Hazard and High on Life.
This is all. At least, if nothing else, this game is another point in, like, oh, it's cool how Doom Eternal is now just the default first-person shooter now. Because this game has platforming.
Mm-hmm.
It feels bad because your air dash goes like 2 feet.
Yeah, his air dash pissed me off. I just saw it and got angry. I didn't say anything. I watched the stream and I'm just like, that seems shitty. Why do you even have it?
And you get it. You do get a jetpack, but it uses fuel really fast and it has a max height. Like, it can only go so far above wherever you start.
Mm-hmm.
I started howling when you get the jetpack, and the first thing that happens basically is they go, "Oh, they're snipers. You don't want to use the jetpack anymore because they'll get line of sight with you." And I'm just like, why didn't you give him the thing and then take it away through enemy types?
Because they want you to use it for bad platforming.
So upset.
Yeah. So the worst part of this game, the absolute worst, is not any of the guns talking. It is not any of the really shitty, like, we're making fun of how bad our game is. It is not even the fact they made a really bad 7th gen shooter that only has 8 enemy types and 4 of them are bad. It is the fact that after every mission, you are fucking locked in a jail cell and have to watch a conversation between your sister, who is a horrifying looking, non-stylized human that looks like a Fallout 4 NPC, and an alien named Jean who now lives in your home. These take 10 to 20 minutes and are just those 2 characters bitching at each other, and you can't even put the controller down and leave the room because you have to do dialogue choices, and the game will just wait for you if you don't do them.
God, it's like
it is all them. It is all them having the worst conversations ever, where it's like, "You're not my dad. Stop caring that I want to fuck this weird alien guy who's voiced by Roger Craig Smith."
All right.
That sure is like the ultimate form of the Half-Life 2 cutscene.
It is.
Yes.
It's that times 1,000.
Yeah.
Cool.
Every other thing I could put up with. But having to be like you're in a fucking prison cell, you can't walk away. There's nowhere you can go. If you try to walk to the upstairs of the house, your gun will say, "No, let's hang out here for a while." I don't know if these choices, because it's literally just side with the weird alien or side with your sister, both of whom are fucking horrible, and I wish were dead. I have no idea if this affects the ending. And I don't care.
Cool. Why did you what was you only played 5 hours, which means you probably haven't beaten the game, right?
No, I have not. There were 3 missions left.
Okay.
Are you asking for the moment that broke me?
I'm curious about the moment that broke you.
So I didn't say this on the stream because I didn't want to be committed. I went into that stream intending to play the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Then up until that point, the game had a fairly standard structure. It's like you get in from you're like, okay, go to the plot computer, pick out a bounty. The portal sends you to the level. You do the level. After 3 levels, they've already run out of areas and start using the areas that they've already used. But they're like, we don't know anything about this. You need to go out into the hub city and get information from NPCs. And then the game pops up with, and then the guy says, don't worry, I turned on a feature of your suit that'll help. And then it says in huge letters on screen, detective mode.
Prison.
And detective mode is you go to some NPCs and you ask them really unfunny questions and get unfunny dialogue in response, and that I could tolerate. But then the screen fills with pop-up ads, which is a gag they had already done earlier in the game, because you get your bounty hunter suit, but you have the trial version. You have to go to the pawn shop and buy back the activation license. And it goes, well, until then, your screen's just going to be full of these pop-ups. But they come back during this segment for no reason. And it's like, and I'm sorry, you just have to put up with it. I'm sure they'll go away soon. You're using detective mode. Oh, geez, it's full of pop-ups. And somebody's like, yeah, this section goes on a while. And I'm like, I'm done.
Wow.
It was the 1-2 punch of going from one of those horrible scenes between your sister and the alien into that.
My favorite thing about High on Life is that it went from one Silicon Valley company's weird thing of Stadia and the cloud streaming future. It was funded to be a Stadia game, to being the biggest Game Pass exclusive of this year. Like, this is the biggest Game Pass launch.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
I can't believe so many people want to see this fucking car wreck. So I'm going to talk about the 2 moments of the game that really made me laugh.
Okay. Great. Some positivity.
One is you get the knife, which also talks, but doesn't talk like a gun. It barely ever talks.
Mm-hmm.
And it really wants to stab the alien who's in your house because he pawned it. So you get back to the house after getting the knife, and it's like, stab him right now. And then a prompt pops up on screen like, press R3 to stab Gene. That's the alien's name. And you do it. And you just stick him in the fucking gut. And he just screams and is like, did you just fucking do anything the fucking prompt tells you to do? And I thought that was mildly funny.
Mm-hmm.
The other funny thing was a bug. So I was doing a boss fight against these 3 guys who look like serious Sam enemies. Like, they have one big eye and don't have legs. They have huge arms that go down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And they form a stack called the Brotron. And then you break them apart and have to deplete their health individually before they reform Brotron.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of them down to 0 health and they didn't die because of a bug, I guess. So I shot him 1 additional time, and with no animation or sound or anything, they instantly shifted to the dead position. So it looked like I shot them and they instantly Family Guy posed in 1 frame.
That's great. That sounds like a feature. There was one good joke for me the entire time I was watching Chris.
Okay.
One good joke. Early on in me watching, I think it was like 2 hours in, I don't know. He's fighting a boss, and the boss is like this drill head guy. He's dumb, and he's doing the zigzag pattern. He's talking a big game, and he's really talking a big game, and eventually the gun's just like, dude, we just started doing this and we're winning against you. I really don't think that's something you should be proud of.
Yeah, he's like, well, I mean, we basically just started this. If we're beating you, you should be really embarrassed.
And that was pretty funny. And then there was, I think, a glitch where he died.
And then that boss fight bugged, and I had to restart it.
And it was not funny the second time, as it turns out.
It never will be. That's how that works. Playing the end of Portal 5 times in a row isn't funny anymore.
No, that's not true. That one joke was funny every of the 5 times where she's just like, I have your brain on archive. Don't believe me? Here, let me put you on. Hello, that's you. That's how dumb you sound. That is still funny 16 years later, as it turns out.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Portal 1 and even Portal 2 are a million times funnier than this game, no matter how many times you replay them.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Cave Johnson is funny. Like, I'm sorry, it's J.K. Simmons.
But yeah, that's High on Life. It really sucks.
Put it on the box.
Like, even if you think this is the funniest game ever made, which never talk to me if that's the case. It's like it's a bad 7th gen shooter. Like, honestly, Dan, if you ever do it's a 7th gen shooter month, you need to put this as a stretch goal because it's exactly like them.
Why do I taste blood?
And I did say during that stream that I hope at some point Dan and Bob stream this because I want Bob to be trapped in those dialogue scenes.
I've made the decision that if we are streaming it, we will change the layout so that way it is really zoomed in on our faces so you can see us wince at every moment. Because elsewise, there's no point. If you can't see us die on screen, what's the fucking point?
Here's how miserable the game is. By the end of my time playing it, I was starting to become endeared to the Morty gun because he was the least annoying character in the game.
Bob, I don't need to go in that hole. That sounds terrible. If the pit can do that to you.
I was like, wow, the Morty gun is sometimes even remotely witty because he's like the normal one who doesn't have a personality gimmick. Because your other gun, the shotgun, is like people said he's some character from Black Dynamite, like 1-to-1, which seems pretty likely. I've never watched it, so I don't know. And the Needler is like a vulgar girl boss type character where she like belches and calls people fuckhead and has like a growly voice. And then the last gun is just like, my brain's broken and I'm weird and I don't care that you're sending my kids out to get mulch because I can have more. It even feels good to me. Ugh. So like the Morty gun is the winner of the 3 guns.
You know, I should have assumed that with the marketing. They don't even want to show you the other guns.
The shotgun is fine. He's just hardly has anything really of note to say. That's another thing. Like, they recorded well, you have to play it multiple times to get the full experience because your gun will commentate on stuff, but a gun you don't have out won't. So I'm like, guys, you could have had specific guns only commentate during specific scenes and then use the rest of that money to have more than 8 enemies, 4 of which are terrible.
It needs to be like Xenoblade, where it's all 4 are talking at once over each other at all times.
No, we can't have that because one of the funnier moments of Chris's stream is when he switched to a gun and the gun's like, hey man, it's a long time no see. And he's just like, no. And he changes immediately away from that guy.
Yeah, bad. That said, I'm done.
Okay, great. Hey, Dr. Aggro, what have you been playing?
Sweet Jesus, let me climb out of the emotional pit that put me in. Oh. Fuck me, man. I've been playing Vampire Survivors. I've been doing all right.
That's great.
You weren't playing Resistance 2 with an awful skin?
Oh no.
Oh my god.
But seriously, if Justin Roiland made a new version of Resistance 2, that might be better than the original because that plot is so bad.
So much. I'm trying to remember what I'd been playing the last time I was here. I already talked about Triangle Strategy, right?
Yeah, you got
Did
something. He talked about it somewhat. I don't know how much he did. I think he did.
Did he?
Okay. I mean, I'm like 30 hours into Triangle Strategy. It's if you've seen trailers for the game, you know it's like, hey kids, you like Final Fantasy Tactics, right?
I do.
I mean, it's pretty great. It's got a lot of quality of life improvements, a lot of cool systems. I've been watching reviews for it, and they suck.
What
They're
does
like,
that mean?
well, on the one hand, the game is really boring. I'm like, fuck you. Like, on the other hand, I think it was GameSpot or IGN, like, multiple reviews I watched for this game talk about how you can't quit a battle partway through, which is a thing you can do.
This
So
is your Battlefield 3 there are no boats in the game moment.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Game Trailer's review of Battlefield 3, they say they took watercrafts out of the game, and the gameplay footage shows it on the radar as he says this. I'm like, so did the editor know that he was lying and just slip that in? And
Yeah, I've just decided to chalk this up to this was a game designed for me specifically because it scratches that part of my brain perfectly.
yeah,
In stark contrast to that, I picked up Sifu last night.
in stark contrast to that, I played High on Life and I just leave. How's Sifu? How is that going for you?
That game is probably good. I've just got to figure out how to do it.
One thing that helped me a lot: don't be afraid to hold the block button. Like, if you can't get the parries, just be fine with holding it, because holding it does work.
What I'm starting to figure, because you can do the high-low guard thing, because it's like, hey, here's your parry button. Do that when an attack is coming in. I'm like, okay, if you tell me that, I'll believe you, but then it doesn't happen sometimes. Like, look, I know different games have different parry timings, and you've got to learn it, but when I've got like 3 guys on me, and I am perfect parrying all of them until just one guy decides his attack animation is going through. Fuck you. The crux of it is, this is a game where when I die, I don't go, oh man, I messed that up. I go, okay, well then what the fuck was I supposed to do? Which, again, I've only gotten through like the first level and half of the second one. I played it for a couple of hours. I need to come to a crux with this game where either I figure it out or I drop it.
Okay.
Because it's really neat. I just wish fighting the bosses felt like I was fighting them and not flailing.
Have you tried not flailing? That might
No,
do it.
because there are 2 buttons and that's what they both do.
Okay.
So that's my scrub quotes review of Seafood 2 hours in.
Great. Did you play anything else?
No, I played sit on the couch and melt for a week.
I wonder why. This is a fucking mystery. Pod Lords.
Man, they really came out of nowhere this time.
Oh, fuck.
Oh god, from way over here, the Pod Lords.
Pod Lords. Yes, that's right, Bob. It's time to activate star power. It's the Pod Lords.
Oh shit.
Bob, activate it. We're gonna die.
Oh no!
Yes.
How do I turn it on again?
I think it's the foot pedal.
Okay.
You did buy the foot pedal, right?
I didn't. Can
What?
I raise the guitar up? Will that work?
No, the motion sensor broke years ago. Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, The Plan, Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Shiba Yagato. Bob, you're reading this one.
Hashire Soreyo Kaze no Yu Ni Suki Mi Hara Wo Yoshito Padaru.
101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. BN12. WTF. Spider-Man. Mr. I Like Spam. 'Twas the big think before Christmas and all throughout Discord. Nary a plan was being made by a Jinkaria Podlord.
Incorrect.
I like how I can see what looks like a highlighted segment of the hat that was left.
Yes!
Like literally, I just put this in Photoshop and took a screen cap using some other application.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Can I can't use the mouse on this. Damn, I was gonna point to edit. DFW 3K. Ghost. 2015. How's his head that big?
I don't know.
Shiny Mew wishes everyone a happy holidays. Kristen. Kyle Bjork. Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue. Schlig Poo. Monster Hunter Ryzen and Raiden. Hi, you know the deal. Merry Christmas and get well soon, Aggro.
Oh.
Yeah, get well. That's what people are going to say when they hear a Scrub review of fucking Sifu. Get well, Scrub. Cooper Tank. Hadouken!
Oof.
Oh, fuck. That's good.
The future is awesome! Wait a minute, something's in there. Something's in there.
Don't put your head in.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I put this image in the slideshow and didn't notice it until it popped up on this TV. 2 parts milk, 1 part Mountain Dew. Not great.
Correct.
I'm about to just fucking live stream me going to a gas station. Okay, guys, you want to make the Mountain Dew? This is how you do it. First, you go to the coffee creamer. You make sure no one sees you. You need to hide your shame.
Please don't say Mountain Dew.
Indigo Sykes. Drive type Padaru. Okay, Aggro, it's your turn.
Shire Sorio K's no you Misukamihara wo Padoru.
Very, very well done. Why can you not be more like Aggro, Bob?
I'm sorry, everyone.
He nailed that. Apple Gothic's favorite Scarlet and Violet bird is Shiny Espathra.
That's
Good
pretty
bird.
good.
This is very turkey core. Evil Lucario.
That is pretty evil looking.
That's really good. This raccoon has a plan.
Oh my god.
Why does that work so well?
The furry neck is horrifying.
Padaruak, Karnov Whack, Pokemon Whack, Bayonetta Whack, Play Hyper Demon, and Kill a God. What was his plan, Daru?
Oh god.
I like that you added the chin scar. That's so good. It's the tiniest detail.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
The Super Mim. J.K. Simmons.
No. No.
the
world he was born to play.
He really,
wrong.
he really is everywhere. Sarlene, Timothy Pfister, Bearded Joe, Pleochrome, Chainsaw Man Scrub Quotes Golden. Bob, you're supposed to say golden.
Golden.
Krunglespum, Noodle. Happy holidays to all my fellow GigaBoots viewers. May your holiday plans not be interrupted by 1 foot of snow like mine are. Oh, that sucks.
Oof.
How I feel after getting a 4.8% raise before Christmas.
Rats.
Cool.
Congrats to Waka for becoming the second most popular Final Fantasy character. All it took was wanting Titus's dick.
Let me explain this one, because I do feel like it deserves explanation. There was a big fan poll for like most popular Final Fantasy character, and Waka got number 2. Waka got number 2 because there was an extremely popular like Japanese meme about Waka wanting Tidus's dick. Like it was like a parody music video. And it became so wildly popular it pushed him up to number 2.
God.
I love democracy.
And Iconic Bane. Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Merry Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Merry Christmas, Podlords.
Merry Christmas, Podlords!
And if you'd like to have a Merry Christmas too, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcasts. For as little as $5 a month, you get many benefits such as early access to Chugging, Bleach, and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime shows where we review all of Bleach 5 or more episodes at a time, and Pokemon movies 1 at a time until we're dead, or we're all done, whichever comes first. You also get extended versions of other shows or cut content from other shows when just something doesn't make it in. And a patron exclusive show 1 a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. And if it's a bad thing, you also get a commentary track. So if you support our patron today, you get somewhere around 66 commentary tracks and 35 exclusive shows.
Yes.
You get a lot.
You get a lot. And honestly, as the editor, that commentary track for The Spirit of Christmas is one of the funniest we've ever done.
That was insane. You were just doing that while I was sitting here, and like, oh man, every time you went somewhere, it was a good comment.
Yeah, no, and people have been backing me up on that too.
And there will be another exclusive show and commentary track for the Hallmark movie A Night Before Christmas, coming sometime soon.
Yeah. Man, Aggro, you sure didn't have to watch that.
I did actually. That's why I put it on the list.
Oh.
I did not realize.
That's a great movie to watch if you want to know what a movie with no bones is like.
We'll get a written review from Aggro for the Patreon.
And if you don't have any money, it always helps us immensely to rate us on Thursdays. Tell your friends, like this video right now.
Please.
Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app of choice, or just spread the word. You know, if you go on r/gaming or wherever and they're like, well, what's a good gaming podcast? The gas us up. You know, that always helps immensely. Patreon.com/GB podcasts. Hashire will. I'm not even going to try now. I can't even say it without the text in front of me.
Patreon.com/GB podcast. We got some news. That thumbnail had some Podaroos in it for Big Think this week. It also had Story of Seasons Goat. You get a plush of the goat from Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life if you get the physical edition of that game. I am now going to show that image. This is important news. Very important. You know what? I'll just show the thumbnail. That's easier to find.
Right.
Theoretically. Oh. Photoshop's still open. We're good. Anyways, that's it. That's all there is for that. Anyways, let's move on. I'll show that during someone else's news story. Guerrilla publicly acknowledged on Hive of all places that they're doing the multiplayer Horizon set thing because they need to hire up for it.
Right. And we found out it's like something set in the future. It is not some weird.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure stuff came out of like you explore the world of Horizon is a group of like adventurers, explorers, in the modern setting for Horizon, not like some weird backstory thing.
Okay, but I did not hear about the timeline related stuff. I just heard about the job listings.
Yeah, but it does not have Aloy. Like, you don't play as Aloy. That also came out.
Yes, that is true. This is an Aloy-less story, or some might call a story. We last minute, sadly, Yu Suzuki holds a supervisory role on Oasis, like Oasis, but with a YX at the end. NFTs, an NFT project that's just as scummy, brain dead, and hopeless as the others. Silicon Era writes, and this quote was insane. The announcement offered some initial details about the first batch of Yu Suzuki and Godtail, which is the name, NFTs. 10,000 free-to-own characters appeared. These are designs to be used as metaverse avatars. In the future, more will appear as a part of the collaboration. Some possible uses of those included fashion items and in-game gadgets. However, no game was mentioned.
Man.
NFTs, my man.
We're still doing this.
We're still doing
a problem masquerading as a solution in search of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no matter how many of these have already crashed and failed, like, GameStop completely shut down their division.
Please don't spoil the year-round, the year-long wrap-up.
They could keep doing it. And for some reason, I guess this makes sense. Yu Suzuki and Tomonogi Igaki definitely sit in that same area of Japanese creators who have fallen in a ditch.
Yes. Yes.
So, of course.
Yu Suzuki is like, the moment I found out Shenmue 3 didn't deviate at all from his original Insane 16 game plan. That was the moment that like Yu Suzuki like really like I just wrote him off. It's like, oh, you're actually crazy.
Yeah.
Like you got this unbelievable comeback nobody expected, and instead of finishing your fucking story, you just made part 3 of 16 that as far as I understand nobody really liked. I gave that Kickstarter and never even fucking activated the code after impressions of that game came out.
Wow.
And then you maybe could have gotten it done through an anime, and then Adult Swim's like, we don't want to do more. And then you tried to make Space Harrier again.
But this time was Queen music.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I for people who don't know, we have a fan Discord. There's a link in the description. The GigaBoots fan Discord actually has a channel specifically for anyone who wants to talk about the Xbox acquisition of Activision Blizzard. So that way none of the other peaceful patrons of said Discord have to tolerate that coming up nonstop. You know, they just want to talk about actual games. Today, I stopped in there slightly before I started finishing up the prep work for Big Think Dimension this week. And you know what I said when I stopped in there? I said some words. I'm going to quote them verbatim right now.
Okay.
Oh, I see the notification. Don't even. Anyways, I said, really glad there's no important news to talk about this week on Big Think Dimension regarding this bullshit. It could fuck right off.
I don't like the way this is headed.
A bunch of people then said, very excited for it to drop in 5 minutes, Dan. And I said, you people need to shut the fuck up right now. So, hey guys, Microsoft issued their rebuttal to the FTC explaining that this acquisition would actually be really good for competition. Wall Street Journal has an entire article on it.
Great. Amazing. Came out while we were podcasting, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah. Literally hit, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. Great. Fucking awesome.
Fantastic.
Really fucking awesome. Can't fucking escape.
Guys, it's like 2 days before Christmas. Can we just wait? Can we?
No. Can't get shit in this house. Anyway, we're moving on. Because we'll get to talk about that whole thing later. Hey, Bob.
Hey,
Sifu news?
Sifu news.
What's up with Sifu?
It's coming to PC and Xbox, which I did not expect, in March.
Oh, cool.
They're also going to release an arenas update for all versions then, which adds new arenas. There's like, I think 9 of them. Yeah, 9 different arenas, which have really cool settings. They're places from the game, but reworked to be just infinite spawning enemies, it seems.
Oh, okay. So it's Bloody Palace.
Kind of. And you just beat dudes up and can apparently unlock new gameplay modifiers and outfits.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm super excited as someone who really liked that game.
Mm-hmm.
Just having a place to interact with the combat exclusively and not have to go through these levels over and over again is really cool as a post-game sort of thing.
Cool.
So that'll be good. We got a release date from Grim Guardians Demon Purge, which is that thing that's clearly
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
mixed with Portrait of Ruin, but also a fully linear game from Indie Creates.
It's the thing that just looks like that. It probably isn't a Metroidvania.
Right.
It is not according to their own description of the trailer, which is go through stages and find different routes, exactly like both previous Bloodstained things they made.
Yeah. But that comes out February 23rd. So
I'm really glad that that's coming out soon. There's nothing else coming out those first 2 months of the year, so plenty of space for Indie Creates to occupy in my schedule.
what were you gonna say, Chris?
Nothing. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, this probably won't be good, but I might try it.
Oh, I'm buying it.
These games are better than the Azure Striker Gunvolt ones.
The Bloodstained ones so far have been. This does not
Yes.
involve Iga, so we do not know what this means.
Yeah, no, the only thing I've seen is a ton of gameplay of one of the main characters shooting constantly. And I'm like,
That
how are we going to balance
It is-
this?
and then the second Bloodstained one was bad.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. But let's move on. Bob.
Sure. DNF Duel had a bunch of news come out.
Cool.
They just released the Grand Balance patch.
The balance patch for the Grand Wizards, or
They buffed apparently 100 plus moves in the game. So this is completely reworking a ton of the way the game works. So that's exciting. I want to go try it again now that this is out. It's coming to Switch in April.
okay,
On
cool.
April 20th.
Nice.
They also announced the season pass. That's gonna have 5 characters. They showed off the first one. She's called Spectre. She looks pretty cool. She has like 2 katanas. They didn't show gameplay as far as I saw. It was just one of those intro video sort of things where she looked at the camera. My next is news. The final part of the Stranger of Paradise season pass releases January 27th. It's going to be titled Different Future.
Okay.
A Moogle's like telling you what to do. It sounds almost just like the Moogles from Final Fantasy 13 too.
Cool.
It looks really weird. It's super rounded. I put a picture in here so our co-host can check it out.
So is it the top one?
It's a top one, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like World of Final Fantasy and other of that era sort of.
It does.
Moogles.
It's just so smooth. Like it doesn't look like fur. It looks like a seal.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't look fuzzy. You know.
I have a solution, but it only works for spherical Moogles in a vacuum.
And also they showed that Jack gets a gun. So I guess that's the new class. You have a rifle.
Cool. I feel comfortable knowing Jack's a gun owner.
Like that's pretty expected. I have no idea if this will be any good. Like all the DLC's apparently been terrible.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Even if this is the one they made correctly, as in it has new content and doesn't force you to do some fucking gimmick to exploit really high level gear out of the enemies to go through the 2 additional difficulties they've added.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy this one by itself. I don't want to pay $40 for 2 TLCs I get nothing from.
Well, you need to get those so you can power up to be even close to strong enough to play this one.
Yeah, see, there's no good angle. They like threaded the shittiest needle in existence.
They did. Like just like you said, even if this one's good, it doesn't matter. It's too late. And then my last piece of news: they showed off the Final Fantasy 16 Moogle, who is furry.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for context, they look identical to Final Fantasy 14 Moogles.
That makes sense. Given who's working on it, that makes a lot of sense.
I hope you get dialogue options to be as mean to them as you can be in Final Fantasy 14. Because in Final Fantasy 14, they're little assholes a lot of the time. So sometimes you'll get dialogue options like, how about if I cave in your little head?
That's good.
I was hoping they'd be wholesome.
Bob, have you never met a Moogle?
I played Final
sometimes they're
Fantasy
fucking
9
assholes.
and 6, and they were delightful in those.
Okay.
At least they're not as bad as the Nopons in Xenoblade.
Oh God, nothing is.
Who I find delightful because their whole gimmick is they're the tiny little mascot characters, but are all the worst human beings in existence.
Riku sucks. Manana's fine, but Riku sucks in Xenoblade 3. I can't stand
mild
him.
spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 1. You have a Nopon party member named Ricky.
Yes.
And he is the hero pawn, so he has to go help you on your quest. And then you find out hero pawn is just a title they give to someone who borrows too much money and can't pay it back, and is a leech on society who they send out to be killed.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't he also like a father of 9 and will not support his children at all?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yes, you go talk to his wife, and she literally says, like, if living conditions get any worse, I'm going to ask for a separation.
All right. I have enhanced our stream with the Story of Seasons Goat.
Ooh, there he is.
Enhanced. That's it for your news?
That is it for my news.
We're going to head to... Damn it. Dr. Aggro. Hey, Aggro, do you have any news?
That depends on how snippy you're going to be about Microsoft Activision news.
Go ahead.
In the latest update to people lining up to spank Microsoft over them trying to fuck over an entire industry, there has been a civil suit filed in the Northern District of California by 10 plaintiffs who, in the actual brief, are each individually referred to as a video gamer.
That's really good.
Gamers have risen up and have utilized Section 7 of the Clayton Antitrust Act to file civil suit to block the acquisition. Apparently, and I didn't know this, I knew the Sherman Antitrust Act, which is when the government steps in.
Yes.
The Clayton Antitrust Act came after it, and it's even stricter and allows for civil mechanisms to block this shit when it's going down and the government's not stopping it.
Huh.
Wow, this
Oh.
should become a trend, as in it should be something every single company that wants to conglomerate with other companies ever has to fight off. Literally,
Yes.
there should never be an unchallenged merger ever again.
Yeah, we're at that state. This should absolutely. This is fantastic.
Yeah, if the last few years of these mergers ruining things hasn't been clear.
What could HBO Max? What could that mean?
What could happen?
I don't understand. Whatever. I'll just ignore all these mergers. It's fine. I actually had to listen to somebody in the fucking gaming space explain how, Microsoft buying Activision, two of the largest publishers in the industries, conglomerating to be not only this super publisher, which it would make them third or second largest, can't remember. They're also a platform holder. That is nothing like Disney buying Fox or Discovery buying HBO. It's literally not the same because that's media and we're gaming. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah, there's just a block in some people's heads.
I do not fucking get it. I nearly had a stroke.
But Dan, Spider-Man was exclusive to the PlayStation, so it's the same thing.
You know why?
Did
It was
you know
exclusive
that?
to the
Did you know that they gave
PlayStation.
Xbox a chance to be the publisher and developer of that, and that person runs? Did you know that Microsoft, when offered that, said it's impossible for anyone to make a Spider-Man game that's good? and sells well.
This is what really gets me about this situation personally. Like, yes, Microsoft acquiring Activision is just, it's bad on its face. If you look at the numbers in the abstract, this situation is not a good thing to happen. What really irks me about it is, no, I don't want them to buy Activision because they're so fucking incompetent.
Right.
Like, it's not just somebody evil destroying the industry with non-competitive actions. It's some fucking idiot destroying the industry by buying people that can do things and wrecking them.
They have no track record of this. I'm just some guy who's bitter at Microsoft. There's no reason. It definitely doesn't have to do with all the studios they've ruined and the IPs they've ruined as well.
But surely the moment they buy Activision, all of their problems with anti-union, misogyny in the workplace, terrible working conditions, they'll just vanish moment one because Microsoft is literally magic.
Yes.
Well, don't worry. They'll fix that problem by firing 75% of the people who work at Activision and replacing them with contractors.
Yeah, that'll definitely fix problems.
Uh-huh.
Not wanting to employ human beings, but harvest their workforce power. That is sustainable and good and hella gamer core, actually.
Like, as much as I support labor unions, I'm starting to think, can we as consumers unionize?
Thank you for the news, Aggro, about the gamers rising up. I hope to read about more gamers rising up. However, we must move on. Chris, I hear you have news that do not involve gamers rising up.
Okay, Ash is gone. He's leaving the Pokemon anime. The next Pokemon season, based on Scarlet and Violet's going to feature a new protagonist. She's a girl. It's very likely that she's Ash's daughter, because what we know is, seemingly, she has a hair clip that looks like that is the same symbol that was on Ash's hat in the first two seasons.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Kanto.
Oh, I didn't know they released that.
And she won't talk with anybody about her family.
That's rough. My dad doesn't exist.
Right? I can't wait to find out that her mom was in the GS ball.
which would, like, it. Whenever you move from one protagonist to another, fans don't accept that because they always go like, well, where's the protagonist, the last protagonist? What are they doing? Will they come get involved? Which is something that the Yakuza franchise ran into really hard when they finally tried to move past Kiryu. Like, he showed up in the game they were supposed to be trying to move past.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to be a main character in 8 again. So this seems really likely to me, just from the angle of like, no, we have to make him too old to be the main character now. We have to move forward until he can no longer be here. That's the only way to keep fans from just saying, well, where is he? Well, where is he? Well, where is he?
Well, if you recall, in the 24th Pokemon movie, Ash had to get into the radiation hallway. And as he got into the microwave hallway, it aged him. And super fast forward, he can no longer contribute.
Another really funny option, which would even be funnier in my mind, is if this girl is Jesse and James's daughter.
That would be really good. I was like, everyone was talking about Ash and Pikachu being retired, but what about Team Rocket? They didn't mention it. So we just have to assume they're also gone, but I'm like, no.
There you go.
I would also be stunned if this girl does not get a girl Pikachu with the heart tail.
I fucking hate that hardtail.
Yeah, I'm
think
hoping
that's a great trait.
No, I think the hardtail's stupid. They're like, it's a girl, it's got to have a Q heart. I'm like, I fucking hate this. And then Tosha's like, I fucking hate this. And then we do the Predator handshake because that's just how we are.
They could give her Pikachu one of the cool hairstyles. They've experimented with giving Pikachus and Eevees cool hairstyles throughout the anime recently.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, even for as far back as like season 1, they did it with Pikachu.
Or so this girl could not be an idiot and she could have a Raichu, the clearly superior version.
Or she could have a Palmot, which I think is
of course
reasonable.
Obviously.
Well, Aggro, you should already be on her side because it seems like she picks the grass starters. Because in the concept art, in the art they revealed, she has a Sprigatito.
Okay, I was gonna say Agra looks it up. She has a Chikorita. He gets mad.
I I think it's funny we're only talking about her. What they really said that it was these two characters are going to be the main characters of Pokemon going forward, because there's her,
Yeah, nobody
Rico,
gives a shit.
and Roy, who no one cares about.
Right?
Well, he probably isn't anybody's kid, and that's how nerd culture works, is we have to constantly be obsessed with how something connects to the old thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It kind of... I understand moving on from Ash,
Yeah.
but I feel like this last season of Pokemon should have been a much more like for the fans sort of thing. And we should have had like, okay, Ash is going to hang out with Brock and Misty and some other classic characters a lot.
I thought...
Because for a lot of what I've watched of it, it is him and Go, their new character, who is awful.
Yeah, I was going to say, they did announce a mini-series that are literally that, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be like a 30-minute thing or something?
No, it's like a small season. It's like 12, 11 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that seems like a good thing.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah, and that's awesome. So that way we get to see, but in the series, not the movie, the microwave hallway.
Yes.
that Ash crawls into at the end. But yeah, no, they're doing that, so that's good.
Yeah.
You don't want to just disappear him and then...
Right.
Well,
I have to wonder, like... You can't make Ash too old to still be relevant, though, because he just uses Pokemon.
Well, yeah, but he's no longer, like, his journey is mostly over. Now he's, like, doing something else, and you don't have to have him be the protagonist until like, they reach that stage.
Right.
Like, they could have him show up in fill the same role as Gita in the game, or like, no, he's the top trainer, he's the top champion, which I think could be cool. Or this could just be some like, we're not saying if she's Ash's kid yet because we need to make sure she's popular enough to carry the series, and we don't have to roll this back.
Yeah, my other thought was, I wonder if this is going to be the new characters for this season, and we can just have new characters each season. If that's going to be their idea.
I'm sure the Pokemon company is wondering that too.
Right.
Yeah, that's how every other one of these shows happens. Like, Pokemon was the unusual one.
Yes.
That it was Ash for 20 years. Like, if you look at Digimon, any of those level 5 series, like Inazuma 11 and Little Battlers, Yu-Gi-Oh!, any of those other card game animes, it's like every 50 episodes every year, or Power Rangers and Kamen Rider and Pretty Cure and all those shit. It's like every year, new cast.
Yeah, and I think that's something that made Pokemon really different, so I like that they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is weird.
I mean, the thing is, Ash has the perfect name.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're going to come up with Ketchum like every time? No, you can't. It's too smart. They set the bar too high for themselves.
Let's move on. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Reverie comes out July 7th, 2023. I'm happy that that's a couple months earlier than I expected. This is the one where we're finally going forward instead of them spending 2 years to localize 2 PSP games with no voice acting for $50 each.
So this is actually like a PS4 game.
Yes, this is a PS4 game.
God.
This is the next one in the series.
Thank God. Is it the one where they switched to that new engine? Because I was very curious to try that.
No, this is the one. The next one is going to be the one where the one after this is the one they switch to the new engine. They use the new engine for like cutscenes and stuff in this one, I think, because the big change is, this is the game where they start using mocap at all.
Huh.
The fire engine lives on.
And I've seen cutscenes from it. I'm like, wow, those sure look like characters are moving.
It'd be neat if Harvestella did that.
I apparently am sure we're looking forward to the game after this one.
they've said repeat. Well, Bob, this game wouldn't make any sense unless you played at least the Cold Steel games. So the next one is the jumping on point.
Look forward to our new weekly series where every Monday Bob has to play one of those games, and it'll just
they all have speed up now.
Oh, okay, well, that's something.
They're only about 40 hours each, except for the last two in it, which are like 80 hours each.
Oh,
Don't tell him that.
That's all.
You need him to get the lost cost fallacy and get all the way to the end.
The Final Fantasy Pixel remasters were announced for Switch and PS4. They said they're fixing the font.
Did they say that?
They just use. Yes, they did, because they
God.
used screenshots from the PC version. Everybody said, "Oh, they're not fixing the font," and then they came out and were like, and took some of them down and went, "No, we are. We just used PC
Okay,
screenshots."
because the only thing I saw was RPG Gamer being like, behind the scenes, we've heard they're changing it. And I'm like, I need confirmation.
Yeah, when it's what is this, $75?
Yeah, this is a $75 collection. They're crazy.
Well, don't worry, you can't buy a $75 collection. That's for the physical print.
I assume it'll be the same price when they do digital.
Yeah, probably, but I feel like the amount of people who will buy them all are not me, for one.
I'm not even sure if they're going to offer them separate.
if
like
they-
on
No, they
Steam.
said they were. They said they
Okay.
were.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they did it on Steam, it'd be fucking weird to not do it on other
It
platforms
would,
as well.
but
Obviously,
I
on Steam they sell them all in a bundle too.
mhm.
So obviously they would do that.
It costs
everywhere.
more than $75 even. It's like $85 on Steam.
Good lord. Look, they fixed the font. I'm picking up all of them. Why wouldn't I want all of my Final Fantasies in a new package with some nice quality of life and trophies and, some other stuff?
Well, because that involves Final Fantasy 2.
Do you think I'm afraid of Final Fantasy 2?
I've beaten it
Yes.
before. I'll do it again.
Dan's not afraid of anything. There are trophies on the other side of.
But they put this up for pre-order, like super limited quantities at 1 a.m. or something on a random weekday because they're crazy.
That was fucked up.
And apparently there's $25 shipping from there.
So it's
So it's like
$100.
$100.
Oh
The
my
Square
god.
Enix store has really high shipping. They're crazy.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, I don't know why they just didn't be okay. It's $60 and we're sending it to Walmart. They'd sell infinitely more copies. People would buy that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy anything that's exclusively available from the Square Enix store ever.
Right, no.
In fact, I wouldn't do that from PlayStation either, but they're like, this is how you pre-order PSVR 2. And I don't have a bargaining chip in this situation. I just go, okay.
I do wonder, like, the past 2 years got digital sales to go up so much. I do wonder if a lot of companies are like, yeah, little smaller projects like this don't make as much sense to go to retail anymore.
You motherfuckers put Harvestel on a fucking cartridge. You put the legacy of Final Fantasy on a fucking disc. Come on.
You put freaking that collection of Mana games on a cartridge.
Yeah. They put 3
That-
SNES ISOs.
They put
ROMs.
Secret of Mana, that horrible thing they should not have made. That remake.
On a disc,
On
yeah.
a disc, on a PS4 disc.
Bob, I need a physical version of this thing that sucks and disappoints me.
Yeah, but these are both-
there's not actual sarcasm in the statement. I need that. Just to be
These things
clear.
these things were both pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
that's true. Transportation costs went through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
that they had shipping, like we're in the middle of a shipping crisis.
We sure are. Good thing we built our country so smart and strong.
And there should be even more one, because those fucking rail workers should do a wildcat strike.
Yeah.
Fortnite and Epic Games are going to have to pay $520 million in relief funds after the FTC found them guilty of tricking users into making purchases, collecting data from children without parents' consent, and having default settings that harm both children and teens. Here's some context. That's more money than Epic made last year.
Is
This
that
is not
really?
a slap on.
Oh my god, I love
they
the
made,
FTC being awake.
I know it
They
rules.
made like, this is not like, oh, it's a slap on the wrist for $1 trillion company. No, this is fucking brutal for them.
Good.
That's good.
Imagine
Good.
anybody listening to this. Imagine you suddenly got a $30,000 bill out of nowhere.
Real quick, there's some highlights I want to go over, which aren't covered in your notes, so I'm going to get them out now. Half of this has to do with dark patterns being built into Fortnite. And what dark patterns are, as a concept for anyone who's unfamiliar, is when you're trained on one level of accepting and denying a thing, input-wise, and then the next screen on the purchase thing flips it to trick you into buying a thing. So that's one level of this. Another level of this is child privacy concerns, of what the defaults on Fortnite should be. Things like kid accounts, things like that, and violating COPPA. So anyways, they done fucked up.
I love that we have a word for that.
Yes.
Because that is absolutely a thing that feels like happens to me it feels like someone's trying to scam me.
Yeah.
But I would never think that someone just made a term for it because it's so common.
You know, it's that thing when it's like, you know, you're trying to get a refund or do something else like that, and they make the really big, obvious button that is you being like, no, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the text that is a clickable link.
Yes, it doesn't even look like a button.
That's the thing that actually goes through with it. That's what a dark pattern is. Anything that draws a huge amount of attention to the thing that you probably don't want that makes them money.
Oh yeah, they actually did that on the Adobe screen. I just installed Photoshop, and it's like, hey, here's the big button that says "Sell my data," and here's the text clickable link of like, please don't.
And here's the P.O. box you have to send a physical letter to opt out. Hey, Chris, did you want to run through the bullets?
Sure. During this conflict, Epic repeatedly insisted Fortnite isn't actually for children at all. Even though they themselves sell shirts for 8-year-olds with Fortnite.
The anthropomorphic hot dog was a really serious adult matter. Thank you. Oh my god! It's John Wick of our generation. This hot dog. Isn't it weird that children get a lot of weird protection through laws that normal people don't? We're just like, hey, you should exploit children. I'm like, you know, you're worried about the subset. What if we...
Yeah, you probably shouldn't
expand that.
Everyone.
They left voice chat on by default, which is a fucky wucky no if you know kids are playing your game predominantly. You can't make them being exposed to just unfiltered voice chat a thing that's on by default. They even got documents from internally at Epic where they're like, we need to turn this off by default because so many kids play this. And they were like, nah, we don't need to do that. They also specifically tried to make it easy to accidentally buy shit, like when you pull the console out of hibernation, or they just made it easy to accidentally make purchases. And apparently there was over 1 million purchases. They got contacted about being accidental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then they made it hard to refund or cancel purchases, as in like to navigate to find it.
Yeah, they kept hiding it. Even in between updates, they would move it, I hear. Yeah. Yeah. 537.
God. I mean, there's a reason so many parents would only buy PlayStation Network cards.
Yes.
So their kids would only have access to that kind of money because anything else is dangerous to have on there.
And they probably went down that road once.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, my kid sure did use my credit card to buy $100 worth of V-Bucks.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks, Epic. Very cool. Did you see the PR statement they did after they lost this lawsuit and got penalized? They did a whole blog post and PR statement that is, as a gaming industry, we all need to get better. You know, it's about going above and beyond, and we've been really focusing on just excelling in this, and it's like, man, you don't come on now. I need to see if I can find that while we move on.
But you know, the FTC doesn't get anything done. They're probably just barking up the wrong tree with Microsoft Activision.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to do anything to Microsoft and Activision.
Yeah, that deal will definitely go through by this summer, right?
Phil said so earlier this year. Everything's on track. Nothing changes in the 11 months of lawsuits. Anyways, look forward to the news roundup for the last year.
They announced a Like a Dragon Pop Team Epic collaboration. Kiryu and Majima's voice actors were Pipimi and Pobuko in a recent episode. We have no idea what this collaboration's like the form it will take at all, but they released a really funny promo image of them dressed as the characters in Kamurocho.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's great.
Really good.
I need to watch this new season of Pop Team. I have not even watched a single episode from it.
Yeah, guys, we've been drowning.
Yeah.
There's that and another show where the term is censored in chat because of you animals that we have not been able to catch up on. Once Game of the Year is rolling, maybe then we'll be free.
We got more East 10 Nordics info.
More.
The combat will be more action focused than previous games in the series. The game will have ship combat. You will be able to upgrade the ship and recruit crew members to improve its functions. It's going to serve as your base. They said specifically, there's going to be a lot of towns in the game, but the ship is your home base because it can move between these islands.
And hopefully it doesn't have to do any sort of defense combat missions.
1 second. 1 second. We've had the tech problem we usually have, but we had it live.
Oh no.
This will take just 1 second. I'll fix this. And then he couldn't fix it. Wonder. Will this fix it? The answer will surprise no one. Hey, Chris, say
Did you
something.
open Vegas?
There we
Dan?
go.
Did
Yes,
you
I
open
opened
in the
Vegas
middle
while
of
we were
this?
live, and then it broke
What
Discord's
a
audio.
fool! What a fool!
It really was one of those. These two icons are next to each other. I think this is right. Anyways,
Let me start. There will be ship combat.
Yes, and your
You will be
ship's your
able to
home.
You will be able to upgrade the ship to be your home base. Nothing in this mentioned anything like those raids at all, so I assume they're just gone.
Thank you.
Because what they implied is that there is not a party. There is Adol and the heroine. That is what they said implied. Like, these are your characters.
If I remember right, she doesn't have blue hair, which seems wrong.
It is set immediately after East 1 and 2. And they said defense will play a greater part of the combat.
That could
Which
mean anything.
they said like, oh, you'll block and defend and build like a meter that lets you do something. They called it a revenge meter, but but they didn't explain what it does.
That could be cool if they do it well.
Yeah.
And it could be heinously boring if they do it wrong. Cool. I'm actually really excited for East 10.
Activision president and chief operating officer Daniel Allegre is leaving to become the CEO of Bored Ape company Yuga Labs. When everything's going to go great in the company and this acquisition is definitely going to go through and isn't going to tank the stock of the company long term, you definitely leave, right?
Yeah. I definitely look at that payout and just get out of the way.
Yeah, you definitely look at the fact that if you're there when this goes through, you get $500 million. You definitely leave when that's for sure going to happen, right?
You absolutely flee to the completely future-proof and stable horizon of the Bored Ape company.
Yes.
How many celebrities are getting sued about the Bored Apes again? Oh, well, don't worry about it.
It's fine. Oh, fine. Oh my god, I did not see this next bullet of news, Chris.
Square Enix is ending support for Chocobo GP, that game that everybody forgot it came out because they'd made every conceivable mistake possible with it. They're not ending support in the sense that you won't be able to play it. They're ending support in the sense that they're not making more things for it. They're ending the ability to buy paid currency. And it seems to be they're just making everything acquirable by playing the game, but the news articles weren't super clear on that.
So they're making it a normal fucking game.
Yeah, that it probably should have just been when it came out and not had like a horrible battle pass full of bullshit.
God damn it, idiots. Yeah, what?
I'm really starting to fucking hate battle passes. Like, it's not enough that I give you money, you also need all my time. I paid you for the right to have to grind. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Then we got some Disgaea 7 news.
Cool.
There's a thing called tourism mode, which seems to be you return to previous areas from the story mode, and they're now a hub. And you can find treasure chests and get side quests and recruit special units. They also imply that there's going to be like Persona-esque social events with your party members, which is a thing in 6, but they just stand around in your base and have an exclamation point over their head and are really shallow. So I assume they're fleshing those out a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, there was something kind of like that in 5 too, where they were almost Tales of sort of sequences.
Yeah, that's how they are in 6. So I assume
Okay.
these are those, but fleshed out a little bit more. There's a new mini game called Demonic Sume Shogi. It is a mini game that will teach you how to use the new AI programming function and give you like challenges related to it.
Hmm.
There is also a tournament mini game where you take an 8-person team in and do tournament battles on different rankings against various opponents. And I can see some funny stuff being in that. I'm willing to bet that when you beat the game, the tournament with all previous Disgaea characters is one of the things that unlocks.
Yeah, there's probably some completely unhinged one where it's like, yeah, you better be like level 9999, several rebirths, and you're gonna fight Bale and 3 other super bosses.
There are now crab people.
Were there crab people last time?
I do not think so, no, because this was in like the new units for this one.
Okay.
But yeah, we got crab people now.
Wow. That is definitely a crab person.
They're also like, we're bringing back various classes that we cut in 6 because we didn't have time to make the models. And I'm like, good. I don't care what you thought. You shouldn't cut every single gendered class. Like, you should have male and female martial artists. You don't only need one.
Right. That really felt like a budgetary, like, we need to get this game out sort of thing.
That's 100% what it was. And I'm like, you should have just... At least they seem to be doing better now, so they don't have to have that problem. Because Disgaea 6 was in development in the worst part of it. Like, in the worst of their financial straits. So it makes sense that it's so broken.
Yeah, that was definitely in the time of, we launched 2 mobile games, both of them failed. We need to get out a real game that people can buy. So hopefully 7 fixes all that and is good.
I love that that's the only thing I come back to here. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all my news.
Fantastic timing on my part. I was able to pee, pour coffee, get a thing, come back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now doing the Big Think end of the year news roundup. The biggest stories from 2022.
Oh my God.
Oof.
Hopefully, this won't be predominantly occupied by one long arc that is the shittiest arc in all of anime.
Good job, Phil. You made something worse than the Bount arc.
Ow, that is the meanest thing you could ever say about a person. I'm going to jump to this real quick.
Ooh. Very fancy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we need some music. Do you think we need some music, Bob?
Music doesn't hurt. It's nice to have something to let people know, hey, this is a very important segment.
No, that is. I don't know if I can take.
Not for as long as
Balan.
this will take.
Yeah, I can't take Balan for this long. That's I can take Top Gear for this long though. Yes, that's right. We're doing the end of the year gaming news roundup. It really helps you get a perspective on this. Every single one of these stories made me cackle to some extent. Because, oh man, it is some shit to look back this many months later. Bob.
What's up?
First story. Ken Levine's game has been in development hell for 8 years.
And we finally saw it last week.
He keeps playing new games and wanting shit from them in it.
Jesus.
This is how January starts.
Oh. All right.
PSVR 2 is announced and revealed. Microsoft was going to disable dev mode to prevent emulators running on the Xbox Series consoles, but then said it was an accident and re-enabled it. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Lots of, like, I didn't know PSVR 2 was announced at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Before that, it was like, of course we're making another. We don't have a name. It could be anything. Oh, put a 2 on it. Halo Infinite's lead narrative designer left to go to Epic. Atsushi Inaba is the new CEO of Platinum Games. That Twisted Metal game that we still haven't announced it at all. Switch developers entirely, went from the people who made Destruction All-Stars Battle Royale or whatever, Destruction All-Stars, and went to Fire Sprite, that company that Sony bought. By the way, in January, screenshots leaked for an Armored Core game. Did you know that? 9 months before we did that month, and yet nobody knew.
Nope.
Or actually, no, only 8 months before. I don't know. Yeah. Microsoft announced the attempted Activision Blizzard acquisition. I have a note here. Fuck you for ruining the news this whole year.
God, this was the day they released that image of just like, we look at all the companies we own now. We're all part of one big family.
God, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nagoshi Studio was founded by the creator of the Yakuza series and funded by NetEase. Oh, this is January. We're still in January. Last story of January, Epic has that studio they made with the creators of Linger in Shadows. Did you know about this, Aggro?
I remember that happening. Did anything ever come of it?
Not yet. So that's just a looming threat somewhere out there.
Right, be ready for next year.
You excited to see a floating dog moving through a metropolitan area that seems dilapidated and sad?
I'm excited for that dog to be sued for $500 million.
Oh, no! February starts with New York Times buys Wordle.
Good
That
times.
was fucking February.
You think they ever recouped that?
No, of course not. World of Warcraft went cross-faction, which Chris brought the story to the podcast to talk about how you can do matchmaking, all sort of stuff across factions. So that way, people can still do the content. Yacht Club Games announced Mina the Hollower on G4.
The first and last time I watched G4 is a streaming show.
Sony bought Bungie for $3.6 billion, which still seems like way too much.
Yeah.
There will be other numbers that come out during acquisitions this year that will still make that seem like too much. Tommy Tallarico exits in television. Also in television is $8 million in debt. Google Stadia is deprioritized internally in February.
No, it's not. It's fine.
And devs in September were like, what?
Yeah.
Deprioritized internally sounds like something Shin Akuma would do to you with his fist.
God. I don't even know how to show this at all. But that's not this story. Netflix announced a BioShock movie in February.
God, that was all the way back in
That
February?
was in February.
Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that far back. I don't know.
This year.
Yeah, I know, right? They're like, haha, but no, really, cut it out. I need to show the tweet as I say it, because saying it is not... That's not enough. David Jaffe puts up legendary poll. Hypothetical, if you were playing and loving an open world game and there was an easy automatic platinum PlayStation trophy for going into a minority filled nightclub and killing all the minority NPCs, would you do it? Winning vote was no. Thanks, gamers.
That sure was a moment. A bewildering moment.
Also, Halo Show got a second season before it was out.
That second season, I don't believe it's premiered and may have been canceled by now.
It would have to have a different showrunner. The showrunner left.
Well, Bob, they don't crank out a new season of this stuff in 7 months. It's going to be 2 years before Halo Season 2.
Street Fighter 6 was announced with its NFT-looking logo.
Oh, God, that thing.
Yeah, that was the worst reveal possible. I have no idea why they had a game that was cooking this well and revealed it in the least confidence-boosting way imaginable.
Yeah.
Considering
It was
this
a
is
trick.
this was the strongest looking Street Fighter in forever. It is really bizarre the way it was announced. Hey, Windows. Are we losing our mind? Okay, we're good. We recovered. Thank you, Windows. Activision executives get $1 million parachutes in golden parachute exit. And as per the terms with Microsoft, no unions were allowed in the acquisition. They are continuous. March! Star Wars Eclipse is still not a real game. Hey, Aggro, based on that name, what is Star Wars Eclipse?
Is that Quantic Dream thing?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
This story is still relevant 9 months later. It's still not a real game. Forspoken gets shown off in a state of play and is delayed 5 months to October 11th.
That's out, right, guys?
That was a good. Advance Wars is delayed to hell.
Yup.
Apple teases a Mac Pro, as in the workstations that they make that are Macs, that still has not come out or been realized or teased even further. What the hell was that about?
Oh, no, man.
I just find shit like that really funny. They're like, we have something for you coming up.
It's been a year, man. Where have you been?
You're going to want a new phone in 7 months. That's something for you. Everybody wants a phone. Shut the fuck up. The director of Perfect Dark has left Microsoft.
I guess that fourth A was for abdicate.
Microsoft announced these hideous Sonic and Knuckles controllers.
God,
Why did you put the image in here?
I can't imagine holding this. It's all bad.
It wasn't enough to bring it up with words. I had to show it again.
My hands feel itchy just looking at it.
Yeah, I need to. Okay. The Switch finally adds folders. Jade Raymond's studio was fully acquired by Sony. That's the one that Sony co-funded the creation of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't write this part in, but later in the year we found out they have some cool cloud tech for making games.
Mm-hmm.
Like on a server side for the studio, not, hey, what if games in the cloud?
Right.
Dragalia Lost shuts down, which means yet another generation will forget how the ditty for Tom's Diner goes.
It'll be back.
Probably.
It never leaves for too long.
Yeah, I'm like, in 10 years, someone else will just rip off Tom's Diner and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're totally right. Oh, wait, just covered that. Xbox Game Pass Family Plan, and this is the exact notes I wrote. Did this happen?
I don't know. Anyone know?
I don't know if this actually happened. This shit came out in March, but, like, I don't know if that's real. Apparently no one in chat does either. Max Payne 1 and 2 remake developed on the Northlight engine was announced. That's a package deal. 1 and 2, all one part.
Yeah, still super excited for this.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Better have the face. If it doesn't, then I can't buy it.
Oh, the face?
Yeah, the face.
Yeah,
Yes.
it needs to have the face. They need to understand that the face is important.
It is important. People finally, and this is April news, people finally could make Unreal Engine 5 games because that's when it came out into beta.
Mm-hmm.
They finally could make a thing they could then actually call an Unreal Engine 5 game. Every time they said it before that, it was more of a statement of intent while they worked on stuff in Unreal Engine 4.
So, Hellblade, I don't think we've seen it since this.
No, didn't we?
I don't think so.
We saw one combat thing.
Was that
We've
after
se-
this? Was
Yeah,
that,
I think
was
that
that
was
during
that,
E3
I think that was a
times?
summer.
For some reason, I
of
thought that
gaming
in my
thing.
head, that's like last year.
Maybe, I don't know. California governor accused of interfering to support Activision Blizzard in a discrimination lawsuit because apparently he had stock or friends at the company. That was scummy. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced and had that cool trailer. We haven't heard anything else since that. That was April.
Yeah.
I'm still holding to that game is a decent way out. 2024 probably at earliest. May, Embracer Group bought Square Enix's entire Western division for $300 million. That is a 12th as much money as Bungie.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't realize that was so long ago.
Yeah, it was May. New York.
I don't know if you put this on the list, but Embracer, I think Embracer also bought Lord of the Rings this year for $500 million. or less than that. Everything was 500 million.
Could you imagine walking up to any sane human being and being like, how much more do you think Bungie is worth than the IP Lord of the Rings? Because they would go, not?
Right?
Like, Bungie's good. It's a great company, but... Come on now. New York City is suing Activision. This thing I forgot about entirely. Apparently, a lot of the city's various public pensions own stock in Activision. They claim the offer wasn't good enough.
Oh.
They said they were underpaying for Activision. And I'm like, okay, sure. I believe the offer was either $85 or $95 a stock. That was not enough for New York City. I don't know if anything happened with this case yet.
Yeah, a lot of these cases like this will just sit in limbo
Yeah.
until everything is said and done, which is years later.
Also in May, keep in mind May, you might notice a trend forming, okay? Google buries the dedicated gaming tab on their website, which led to Stadia, and replaced it with a tab for shilling earbuds. May! 505 announces the worst showcase ever and then does it.
Yeah, it was rough.
That was terrible. Remember that thing that ripped off Full Metal Alchemist?
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was the most exciting thing, and because the other thing was, what if it was a crafting game where we walk around?
Ooh. I copied and pasted this directly from how Chris wrote it. Activision is doing aggressive union busting, also phrenology.
Yeah, that's when we found out about their bizarre diversity tool, which seemingly, according to people at Activision, was never actually used by them. They just put this out, I guess, to put a big target on their face for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall Guys went free to play in May.
It was basically always free to play since it was a PS Plus game the month it came out.
Well, yeah. Just like High on Life's a free game. Because it's on Game.
I mean, that PS Plus is at least something that most people who have a console have.
That's true and sad at the same time.
Yeah, thanks Microsoft for normalizing paid online.
Yeah, I love being charged rent on my console. It's fucking great. Zenless Zone Zero was announced. That was that Genshin thing that was action and very cool.
Yeah, that thing's still looking good every time they show a little bit more.
Yeah, that game looks awesome. Inafune obviously made NFTs, but then people said he would never do that, and that the company was lying.
God, this is back in May?
And then Inafune announced, yeah, I did that. And some people need to grow up and maybe realize their dad's just a piece of shit. Oh my god, please end Activision news. Raven Software QA testers form a union. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. Thank you, good thing. Sony threatened us with a number of TV shows based on video games. Twisted Metal, since this point in time, has actually finished principal photography.
Wow.
So it's in post, baby.
Oh yeah, something I forgot to write in. Yeah. Amazon apparently it's going forward with the plans to make a God of War TV show.
Oh.
And it will be based on 2018 God of War. They're skipping the original.
Yeah, that was actually a part of this. The, not the last bit, but the Amazon got God of War.
Yes.
Peacock got Twisted Metal.
Mm-hmm. God, this
Netflix got something. I don't even know what. Phil Spencer, of course, accidentally did a stream interview thing where he had the cloud streaming puck in the background, and the Xbox account was like, Phil, well, you gotta stop leaving exclusive prototype things on your shelves in the background. What are you doing? Oh, you. And then Phil did this, and it was cute. That thing, by the way, was called Keystone. Still hasn't launched. Don't know what's up with that. No idea. PlayStation Plus launched and sucks.
Yeah, now we know. We are 100% certain.
Chris wrote this article. I didn't even remember this happening. This is June now. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is the title of Dragon Age 4. This will return for a later point of data that made me cackle. Junichi Masuda left Game Freak to go to the Pokemon Company. Oh no, Bethesda ZeniMax horror stories. Oh, this is too much. Crunch on Fallout 76, nightmares, people going to the hospital just to avoid keeping working on the game. I'm not even going to talk about this. We're just moving past it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remasters were in development before Activision Blizzard ruined everything.
Of course.
Yep.
Yuji Naka public. Sorry, go ahead.
Just one of the worst things that has ever come out.
Yes. Yes. I will never forgive Bobby Kotick.
No.
He took one of the things that was like an actual dream of mine and just did not give one shit about it. Asshole.
I'm sorry, we need to make them grind themselves into dust because Diablo 4 is not getting done.
Because they need to fix Diablo.
Yeah.
Yuji Naka confirmed Michael Jackson worked on Sonic 3. This will be the last publicly positive thing he does ever. July. Yuji Naka edits out Naoto Oshima from a photo from Tokyo Game Show of them launching Nights.
God, what a weirdo.
GameStop massively downsizes all of their staff except for the NFT team, which is fine.
It's a smart move. It's good head on your shoulders over there.
Mm-hmm. Unity is being used by the U.S. military. The Column game is delayed.
God, that's still not out.
No. It's nowhere near out.
No. That was the first next-gen game we saw.
Yeah, we saw a picture of it, and they're like, this is what next gen looks like. That was 2.5 years ago, everyone.
Yeah.
The KOTOR remake changed studios and directors and everything. And the Roblox oof was removed in July. August. Microsoft responds to the New Zealand challenge of the Activision Blizzard acquisition by saying Activision is an irrelevant company with no good games.
Sure has been a whole year.
Sony pays money to keep things off of Game Pass?
That makes sense.
That's still... What the fuck is wrong with capitalism?
Yeah, this is really fucking bizarre.
There's the most... I know I said this verbatim in that fucking big thing, but this is the most bizarre form of exclusivity I've ever fucking heard.
Yes, but at the same time, I get it, because if it's on Game Pass, it's free in their head. So obviously, they won't pay for it on a system they actually want to play it on.
A Days Gone movie was announced.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even remember that happened.
Yeah, right?
Because it's not real. The PS5 price increases everywhere but the land of the free.
Norway?
Yeah. They're doing fine, actually. You can tell which ones I copy and paste directly from Chris. Velma has lost white woman's greatest weapon.
The police car. She can no longer call the police on you.
God, I haven't played it even since that happened.
Right? That was September.
Wow.
We're now in September. The massive GTA 6 leak happened.
God, yeah.
That was 3 months ago.
Man, that was an exciting period of, oh, look at all this. Why are all of these comments the dumbest thing I've ever seen?
I know.
Yeah.
Normally, I have to go to the replies to any tweet about the Activision acquisition to get those.
Right? Like, this isn't even complicated. Hey, look, this is stuff from them making GTA 6. No, there was no room, I thought, for you to have a stupid opinion about this. How did you find the room?
Don't worry, I got this.
First, I have to flatten my brain to make it two-dimensional. Now it can fit in any space. The Logitech G Cloud was announced and launched in October.
Oh, that was that portable that was only cloud gaming. Oh, wow.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
Right? And I wrote down here, no company launched a green controller that Dr. Agro approves of.
Scorn.
Also, I wrote Scorn. October. Fandom acquires GameSpot, Metacritic, TV Guide, GameFAQs, Giant Bomb, Cord Cutters News, and Comic Vine.
Wow.
Activision Blizzard illegally withheld raises from unionized workers.
All right.
Tri-Ace is in dire straits because of the financial situation over there.
Yeah, I really wonder how things are going now. If the launch of Star Ocean 6 was a breath of relief or like
It seems
pain
to
and
have
sorrow.
sold pretty well in Japan, at least. So hopefully that like scaled up by population for the United States, and they did okay.
You would hope.
Right, it clearly was made on like pennies, so
It was made on more than Valkyrie Elysium, Soul Hackers 2, Stranger of Paradise. Yeah, many things.
Leaks say that Halo Infinite is not making a DLC about the Endless. It's going to be a whole new Halo game made on Unreal Engine. This is the only good news 343 has ever had for me in the entire history of that company. Reminder, we're in October now. Need for Speed announced 2 months before the game comes out.
Yeah.
A game that Eurogamer said, and they put this in their accolades images that they promoted firsthand. The best Need for Speed in a generation, and video game journalist Jeff Gerstmann said, yeah, that's not a high bar.
oh yeah, it's been dire over there for this whole gen. Jesus.
Yeah.
I really wanted to try this, but it's like you didn't give me anything to have confidence in, and you
No.
announced it 2 months from launch.
No, there's like...
This is a Need for Speed Heat sort of situation.
This is literally a thing of, I wish I was able to get a code so we could check it out, because we have no problem paying for it, but the track record's so bad.
yeah.
I don't want to waste money. Anyway, Meta acquired Camouflage. That's important to me. I don't know if any of you even fucking know. They made Republic. Yeah, I didn't think so.
They also made the Iron Man VR game.
They did. The 4090 comes out but won't fit in anything. DLSS 3 looks like shit, and some of the power connectors melted after people may or may not have fully plugged them in. We got that Silent Hill event.
Oh yeah.
All the Silent Hill stuff. Silent Hill lives again. G4's dead, though.
Yeah.
God, why did that? The G4 revival is one of the just biggest, like, what was your plan moments in human history.
Who do you think ran G4?
Yeah,
I have an idea.
Don't know. It really says something. That Mina the Hollower event was in what? March?
Yeah, Mina the Hollower. That was March or February. Let me check. February.
So that's March, April, May.
Oh no, Bob's doing math live.
That's like 7 months of nothing, and then they shut down.
Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't succeed.
They didn't. That's it. Bungie is allegedly bringing Marathon back as a 3-person squad-based extraction shooter. The voice actors for Bayonetta in Bayonetta 1 and 2, Helena Taylor, starts some shit. God.
Good times.
I still don't have my analog pocket. EA puts out a press release that literally says Dragon Age 4 isn't canceled.
I thought it was Dragon Age
Yeah.
Dreadwolf.
Yeah, but nobody will know what that is if I just say it. So
Yeah,
we have
no,
to
no,
say
like-
Dragon Age 4.
Dragon Age 4 isn't canceled. Maybe some game with a different title is.
Oh no.
No, they brought it up again recently.
Sony London is developing an online co-op combat game set in fantasy London. That leaked.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, oh, we're in November now. Henry Cavill is recast as Geralt to go be Superman. Which,
Except no, he's not doing that.
except for now he's not.
I think now he's with Amazon doing a Warhammer thing.
Yes, I actually ran into the largest Warhammer fan I'm friends with at a store who explained it to me. And I was like, oh, cool. Great. He's like, yeah, he's going to be this person. I'm like, and he goes, you have no idea what that means. And I'm like, no, I don't. Not a fucking clue. NASCAR driver fulfills his child dream his child GameCube dreams by ramming into the wall to go faster.
Yes.
Gears of War movie announced by Netflix. Palmer
Yeah, okay.
Luckey.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like Palmer Luckey makes the Sword Art Online headset because he's insane. God. Horizon.
And for the record, he did not make the Sword Art Online headset. The Sword Art Online headset uses a microwave emitter inside the headset to cook your brain if you die in it. Palmer Luckey couldn't make that work, so he just put a bunch of explosive charges in it.
Yep. Horizon MMO RPG is in development at NCSoft. Xbox put out a survey asking if people want an eco mode that caps frame rate or resolution.
Oh my god.
I still think this is conceptually a cool thing, but also insane. Oh, Control 2 was announced.
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, Remedy could be like, we had lunch, and I would go, yeah, what'd you eat? Marvin the Martian was announced for Multiversus. I somehow forgot, so I'm excited for when I go back to that game in January.
Right.
I copied and pasted the bullet, so I'm just going to show you guys now, instead of even trying. So help me God, I'm trying to become a better man, but you are fucking testing me, Microsoft, : Microsoft wants to create more competition among game publishers, says the CEO. That's what collaboration is in any industry.
Yeah.
More competition.
You can just say stuff, as it turns out. It doesn't have to have any sort of bearing on reality. You can just say stuff. And if you're a CEO, it means something.
Yuji Naka is in prison. Oops. We're in December now, by the way. Contender for the fakest trailer of 2022, Infinity Nikki trailer drops.
Ooh.
Fucking low orbit ion cannon of a trailer right there. Starship Troopers Extermination is coming out in 2023. When things like this happen, it makes it really hard for me to go, Bob, no, that's not going to happen. And GameStop blockchain division is shut down.
Whoa, wait, I thought they were fine.
They were fine. Now they're
Okay.
not. Microsoft says they're going to charge $70 for their games now.
Oh boy. Oh, sorry, that's 70 bits.
Yeah, 70 bits. Not $70. I'm pretty sure Duke Donuts would have been pretty thrilled over $70 donation.
Yes.
You'd be like, $70? Holy shit. FTC sues to block the Activision Blizzard deal. And the final story of this year's 2022 news roundup. Fantavision 2020X is announced for the PSVR 2. Man,
Hooray.
I hope you didn't
What a
take
year.
a drink every time Activision Blizzard acquisition came up.
Yeah, or just Activision in general, because there were so many stories about Activision still burning down.
What a nightmare.
Man. It feels like a ton happened, but also not that much. It's weird.
It
I'm
feels like
conflicted.
a ton of nightmares happened, but not a lot of games.
No. No.
Anyways, I think it was pretty cool to look back at all that just because it's like, man, the arcs are so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see the fucking Charlie Brown running up to a football and kicking.
Yeah, all the MFT stuff was this year, right? That didn't start last year, did it?
Well, what NFT stuff?
Just the various divisions opening and shutting down.
It started
A lot
last
of them
year.
opened
Okay.
last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, note I didn't bring up Square Enix.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that proclamation was made in 2021. So there was definitely plenty of that back then. Anyways, that's it for the roundup.
We have one more piece of news that I want to get in.
Okay.
So David Serlin, insufferable loudmouth who thinks he's a million times smarter than he actually is. He worked on the card game Yomi, the fighting game based card game Yomi, and he also made Fantasy Strike, that fighting game that's supposed to teach you how to play fighting games that nobody on Earth has ever played. He has apparently trademarked the common Japanese word yomi and is now assaulting indie devs trying to use it, just sending them DMCA takedowns, and he started doing this like this week. So over Christmas, here's your Christmas present: indie games, Yomi Hustle and Yomi Domini. Here's a DMCA from me, David Serlin, piece of shit, maker of Fantasy Strike.
Yeah, this guy sucks. What a great conclusion to this shit.
I'm sure this won't end with him being in the same black bag as Mike Z.
Definitely not.
Why would that happen?
Well, that's it for the game news. The Gears video is coming out as soon as this stops being streamed to you.
Oh my god.
Go watch
Oh, yeah!
the Gears video.
I
Thank
actually
you.
already watched it because he gave me a preview, but I'll watch it again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was a lot of work. I think that video is excellent. Even if you give zero shits about Gears of War, I think that is an excellent Gears video. Aside from that, I don't know. We got Christmas coming up. I hear we're streaming tomorrow.
Yeah, we're streaming something.
What are we streaming? You don't know? Didn't you say that one thing's too long?
I mean,
What was the other thing? Bullet Witch? We doing Bullet Witch on Christmas? Okay, it's probably Bullet Witch. Probably. Aside from that, obviously I'm still working on Game of the Year stuff. I got plenty of that to do. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to announce.
Okay.
Hey Aggro, what you got going on over the next week?
I'm going to ingest and then burn a combination of duralumin and bend alloy in order to slow time down in a small bubble around my person to play enough games for Game of the Year.
God. At least you already finished God of War. That's something.
That is something. That's anything.
Yup.
I haven't played God. So fucked.
I know,
I am so unbelievably fucked. That's okay. It's not like Astra Libra is fucking 56 hours long.
It's okay. Just don't play a single side mission in God of War, no matter how good they are. Don't just ignore them.
Okay. That sounds
Bob,
like
you're telling Dan to not become strong.
I know. He's not going to listen, but
Wait,
I'll
are
say
you
it.
tricking me? Are you tricking me into being weak, Bob? You know my policy on being weak.
Play on easy mode, then you feel strong.
Oh, God. No, that's...
Yeah, no, that's bad.
That is literally not true strength.
Chris, what do you got going on in the next week?
Well, I'm not streaming anything this weekend because it's
fucking Christmas. Yeah, I don't know if I can...
and after that, I don't know. I was mostly streaming things that I needed to play before Game of the Year, and the things that I can reasonably stream that are gone. They're over. They're all gone, unless I just decide to go, okay, here's 4 hours of the middle of Ast Libra. Which I might do, but it is unlikely.
Okay.
So I'll do something. Also, a reminder, this is the last big think of the year. There is not one next week. We have to work on Game of the Year.
And now you know why this one is so huge, and we did a News of the Year roundup. Anyways.
Also, there's never any news next week. Like, there's never any news the week of Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll still be some weird Activision news because there's always that. There's going to be something that comes coming from Microsoft.
If there's one thing the roundup has taught us, it's that they sure will ruin the news segment. Anyways, watch the Gears video. We'll see you guys in January. Unless you come to our live stream, then we'll see you tomorrow. Oh no. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is literally only possible because of your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, which help us work on this like it's a full-time job or something. That's it. That's the tweet. Seriously, have a happy holiday. Thank you all for the support. Also, I hear you're getting another Christmas movie commentary as well. Bye!